It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All right, here we go on a Wednesday. Rothman and Ice, Anthony Rothman, Matty Ice Hayes, and the Loose Cannon. Boys, good to see you.
It's great to see you, my man. Great to see you, TLC, and our wonderful listeners. Hope everybody's having a nice start to their day. How you feeling over there? You doing all right?
So
Good to see you.
Good to see you, Tress, my guy.
I'm at a crossroad here.
Cody Rhodes crossroad? What do you
I
got going
feel
on?
like, when you start, something's coming on. And, I told you yesterday, burning the candle at both ends, the Chi-Town Shuffle, the wedding, memorial, just spreading myself way too thin. Just no way I can handle this.
Yeah.
And I thought I could just power through. And then you get to this point, and you're like, could I have stayed home and not, make the listeners endure me sounding like crap today, more usual than normal? And so I feel like, and then also coming into a studio with you and feeling like I never know which way to go with that. Either tough it out and power through and just do it. And I know you're big on the antibacterial anyway, so I figured that
we're good.
You're as protected as anybody, but that's
playing
where it
hurt
is
today.
Well, yeah, and it kind of goes to a story I wanted to start with. And listen, if I got a call to the pen, if I can't get to 5 innings,
somebody eating some
and
innings for you today?
if I can't get an official 5 innings,
a quality start, I think is what they call that.
or at least be eligible for a win.
Yeah.
Then I may have to go to the pen. Who knows?
I was a little worried when I came in because we're setting up and I do my usual rundown and I got the Clorox wipes right here and I'm wiping everything down. So this has nothing to do with how you're feeling. You know this. I do this every day, regardless. But I see you grab a trash can and put it next to your seat over there. That's where it really got concerning for me.
Now, I'm going to be AR's defense attorney. That might be for tissues.
It is.
Okay.
I would never do that to you guys. I would never come in here on the borderline of being violently ill and do a show. That is for Kleenex tissue. That is absolutely for that. But you're right. You're right. You're very observant, and you're right to point that out. So I started thinking, so one of my just absolute, legendary players, Columbus native Jim Marshall, passed away last night. 87 years old, proud Viking, captain, purple people eaters. Mm-hmm. I'll tweet out a picture. I went up to the Vikes new stadium years ago, maybe 6-7 years ago, and there's a picture on the wall, like a mural of all of them, just the big ones. I mean, like Marshall and Larson and Carl Eller, who we've had on Gold Jacket Thursdays, and Alan Page, of course, and just the little kid, childhood heroes, purple people eaters, and that's why I fell in love with them, Scrambling Fran, the whole thing. And never left them my entire life. Didn't grow up in Minnesota. It's weird. I should be a Bear fan. I'm not. Everyone loved Peyton. I told you the story. Every little kid wanted to, jump over the pile into a pile of leaves when Peyton was there. I mean, that was his signature move. But, I'd started with the Vikes and never left them. It's just the loyalty of a sports fan. Just lived and died with them my whole life. And he, passes last night. He's not in the Hall of Fame and easily should be with all his sack numbers. The problem is in the NFL, they didn't start keeping sack records till the early 80s. And he was done. He was retired in 79. And they've gone back and they've done numbers and things like that. But, I started thinking to myself, he really was the NFL's original Iron Man. And I'll get to this point, and I think you'll be able to weigh in on this. So he leaves Ohio State before his senior year, and he played for the Canadian Football League. Goes up to Saskatchewan and plays for the Rough Riders. And he gets drafted, ironically, by the Cleveland Browns. Okay. And he played one season in Cleveland. They trade him to my Vikes. First game in team history in 1961 when the Vikes were birthed. And by the time he left the NFL in 79, at the age of 42, believe it or not, and listen, this guy played in the 60s and 70s. To play that long is just remarkable. And then the big stat to mention is, and I believe I have this right, it was an NFL record at the time, 282 consecutive games started. I think the most by a defensive player.
Wow.
And he started all 12 of his games with the Browns, and then he went and played 270 with the Vikes. So I'm adding the Browns into that number. And so it's amazing when I think about it because all he did was play hurt and play sick in a weird, wild era of football. And there's a story, and I don't even know if I have this confirmed, but I've heard it up there that he was cleaning his shotgun one day and accidentally shot himself, like in the stomach, and then played on Sunday.
Come on.
Like, I'm serious. Obviously it wasn't like to the point where,
Really?
He literally walked out of the hospital and played following pneumonia and a shotgun blast, self-induced. And I'm in here with some tissues and a trash can.
Yeah.
Like, I'm playing today. Like, this is ridiculous.
Well, after that story.
Yes, exactly.
And the audio that we had from an anchor somewhere, the lady that her water broke on the air.
Powering through.
You got to power through, AR. You got to get through this thing.
That's right. And so while this is nothing like, and it's really my only reason to tell the story is because I wanted to talk about Jim Marshall. And there's another story that after he shot himself, that he was in Minnesota. He went out with a group of snowmobilers. Have you ever snowmobiled?
No.
It may be the most fun thing you'll ever do.
I think
awesome.
I would definitely enjoy that, AR, more than skiing or snowboarding because me trying to do those things once in my life was one of the most frustrating nights I've ever had. I was out with some friends. They were like, hey, let's go do this. Let's go ski and snowboard. I was already kind of hesitant in doing that. You know how I am about the cold and all that. And so I get through this thing like the first couple practice rounds, and I could not stop. So I was like, I need to get off this thing before I take some people out.
So
I'm going to kick it inside. I'll see you guys later.
The stopping is the toughest part. You can either go toe in and snow plow that stop.
Couldn't figure it out.
Because here's the deal. You will never have the confidence unless you skated as a kid to do a hockey stop. You just won't. And we played, my brother and I played, that was the first sport we ever played was hockey. So we knew how to skate and stop.
Yeah.
But as a beginner, you'd go just snow plow, just tow those things in and just try to slow it down. But it's not great. Or you just go down and try to just go down the mountain on your butt. It's an awful thing. I agree with you. It's not really the going up on the chairlift or anything like that. It is definitely the stopping. And so he goes out and so a group of like 16 snowmobilers. And my stepdad took us snowmobiling in Wisconsin. This is kind of funny. As young kids, he'd take us up to the old Playboy Club up in, we didn't obviously go in. We were up in, was the Elkhart Lake or wherever it was. And we would snowmobile, and it was the greatest. And so Jim Marshall was part of this group of 16 snowmobilers that set off from this in Montana, not Minnesota. It was in Montana. And it was supposed to be like a 50 plus mile snowballing trip to Wyoming, from Montana to Wyoming. And they encountered a blizzard and they got stranded. And one of the people of the 16 died of exposure. They got lost. Their snowmobiles broke down. This is that guy. Shot himself, played with pneumonia.
I can't get over this.
Lost on a snowmobile. It's like a movie. I don't understand.
Shot himself with a shotgun.
Yeah, and played. And he's the
original Plexico Burst.
He is
in a very sad way.
That was what, nightclub handgun sweatpants? That's the other rule. Never carry a handgun in sweatpants. There's just too much room for air.
Oh my god.
It's not a holster. It's just too loose. It's just, come on, man. I know was that a handgun in your sweatpants? And so I just started thinking about Jim Marshall and
it's good.
And then being sick, and so I hope. Listen, I don't think he'll ever get in now, and even if he goes in after his death, it's what is it? But I think of him that way, and I just felt like mentioning him because he passed last night.
Man, you've been telling some wild stories the last few days. The Babe Ruth story at the memorial.
Yeah, where, I think that's
golfer's great-grandfather
was killed by Ruth with a line drive. Did you see that Kirby got hit with a line drive back up the box?
Last
night, 102 miles an hour.
Mariners.
Yeah. And I started thinking, what would you least rather do? Take a liner up the box.
Off the dome?
Well, just
like he did?
Just face a major league hitter.
100 miles an hour off the bat,
or
like he did.
Going over the middle in a football game. Like a slot receiver having to do a dig route over the middle.
I would much rather go over the middle. I have padding, a helmet.
See, me, I'd rather take the line drive because I have a glove and I feel like I have fast reflexes.
You think you do until that thing comes 100 miles an hour off the bat and before you know it, you're seeing stars on the ground.
I'm like Jeff Spicoli in Fast Times. Just be lucky I had fast reflexes. My old man's a TV repairman. I can fix it.
No, AR, I think you want to go across the middle with me on that. You want to deal with the linebackers and the safety coming to knock your head off.
Wow.
I think that's what you want.
That's the old, he'll knock you to tomorrow.
I mean, because when you're a pitcher on the mound, you're only 60 feet away.
Yeah.
That's happening in the blink
What
of
about
an
the
eye.
6 inches, though?
Well, you know what? That's always important, too. 60 feet, 6 inches. Don't want to
short me. Exactly. Don't short me 6 inches.
Speaking of being on the mound.
Yeah.
I think I'm like a hard 6.
The ghost of Wade Miley has come back to haunt me.
This is fantastic.
This is unbelievable. I cannot escape this man. Unfortunately, for us Reds fans, we got some brutal news that Hunter Green is injured again.
He said he was going to win the Cy Young.
Listen,
you
know
promised.
What? You haven't even brought this up, and I'm surprised you haven't. That it was another print the shirts curse. I came out and said that he was going to
really
win.
Said it yet?
He was going to win the Cy Young.
Oh no, we did that
for Hunter Green.
No, I think TLC did that or something. We did that day.
I've cursed him. Because
100%.
he's been injured twice.
And remember that day, I remember saying to you, wait a minute, he's coming back off because he was going to start against the Cubs that Friday night.
Prior to that, though. I said that a couple starts into the season. So, yeah, Hunter Green, I'm sorry. The old print the shirts curse has come to get you. But now the ghost of Wade Miley is back to haunt me. Because back on May 7th, 2021, when Wade Miley was pitching for my beloved Cincinnati Reds, I was doing the show with you. We were still at home at the time.
Were we?
We were still at home.
No, we were here.
No, I remember, AR, being in my apartment, vividly saying this thing.
We were here.
No, we were at, I'm telling you, we were at my apartment. Either way.
What date was it?
It was May 7th, 2021.
May 7th.
I don't think either way, doesn't matter. That part doesn't matter.
You know what may have happened? I think we came back like 5 days later.
After that.
Because we were supposed to come back after July 4th. And then they swung the thing and said, oh, no, the studio's done. Get back in May. And like, wait a minute, we had the rest of the summer to ourselves.
So what I did that day, TLC, was he was pitching up in Cleveland. It was the battle of the Ohio Cup that was going on. You know, the biggest rivalry in baseball. But I said on the air.
Yes. Yankees, Red Sox, it has nothing on this.
I said on the air, I'm just not a Wade Miley guy.
Yeah.
I'm out. Like, I don't see it. I see him as a good pitcher, an elite pitcher, nothing like that.
I feel like he dunked maybe even a little more, but that's the gist of it.
That day.
What, you said to DFA him or something?
No, AR thinks I had a little bit more spice to it. I don't remember doing that.
Basically, get him out of here.
Pack his bags. Yeah. That night, against the Cleveland Indians at the time, Wade Miley throws a no-hitter.
No.
I'm not even sure I remembered that he threw a no-hitter.
Yeah. Ruin no in Cleveland, and my mentions were on fire because I had Guardians fans, Reds fans dunking on me, and rightfully so.
It
was unbelievable.
You know what? You were happy to be wrong.
But here's the deal. It was the reverse curse.
It was.
He should start doing that.
Yeah, because he just curses everybody.
Yeah, he's way too busy with the Glaze-a-Palooza. He needs to go the other way, and then that'll work.
I really have cursed Hunter Green.
You know what? I think we figured out something yesterday, though, when you said you might be done with being a Reds fan in a couple of years. And I said, you know, you start running a respectable ball team, and I won't have to come down here and hassle you no more. That's where you need to lean into that. Start hassling them more because I did praising them.
I did throw that out there. TJ Frieda walks it off with it, robbing a home run last night.
That's right.
But Hunter Green's done. We got to pour one out for him.
Why? What is it now?
I think it's a quad.
Okay, because he had a groin. No, he had a groin.
Yeah, I think we're back to the groin.
Yeah, got to be careful with that groin. Yep. All right, we're going to come back. We had a nice show for you today. We got Schefter, bottom of the hour. But up next, are these two big trades still left to happen in the NFL offseason? Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
The sound of Paul Keels calling a Buckeye game is erotic.
Oh, yes.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Spring weather has arrived, and we all know what that brings. Warmer weather and severe storms. Well, when bad weather hits, we all know it can cause leaky roofs or even damage to your siding and gutters. The Roofing Guys are your local experts in roofing, siding, and gutters and more, providing top quality through every roof, every time. So it's just a small repair, full replacement, or even peace of mind. You need to contact my guys, the Roofing Guys, 614-626-7000, or visit them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
When sudden illness or injury strike, Ohio State offers 3 types of urgent care to meet any of your needs. From traditional urgent care to our specialized orthopedic urgent care for activity-related injuries and advanced urgent care for more serious injury and illness. Ohio State's experts treat everything from broken bones to ear infections and colds and flu. When your illness or injury can't wait, the choice is clear.
I'm Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers.
And I'm his very overpaid celebrity endorser, Common Man. Bob, I heard somewhere, actually from you many, many times, that Worthington Jewelers is where Columbus gets engaged.
It's too bad you and Timmy can't engage the audience.
Good zing, Bob.
If you're thinking of popping the question, there's only one place to go.
Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington. WorthingtonJewelers.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
Home means something different to everyone. But with Rocket Mortgage, home can mean even more. It can mean a college education, taming your high-interest debt, even a renovation. We've made it easier than ever to use your home equity. That home you worked so hard for, now it can work hard for you. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring is here, and it's time to refresh your yard with Ohio Mulch. With 15 convenient locations in Central Ohio, it's easier than ever to get your mulch ready for the season. Need it delivered? No problem. Save $50 on home delivery when you order online. Whether it's mulch, soil, or even stone, we've got your yard covered. Visit OhioMulch.com today and spruce up your garden with the best.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply, cleaner, greener, better.
Cheetah Green with Skip Mosick.
Saturday, we'll preview next week's U.S. Open at Oakmont with Beth Major of the USGA, plus SI.com's Gary Van Sickle and former Buckeye Maxwell Moldovan.
Cheetah Green with Skip Mosick. Saturday mornings at 9 on The Fan.
Hey there, I'm Brad. I'm about to win the Tuesday Night Bowling League Championship. Strike. I'm also a highway worker for the Ohio Department of Transportation. When you move over and slow down, you're not only giving me room to work, you're making sure I can bowl the winning strike with my buddies.
Roadside workers have lives and families, but when they're on the job, they put it all on the line to protect and serve us. When you see flashing lights, remember, they're not just roadside workers. Thank you for moving over and slowing down.
Does heel pain make you hobble just getting out of bed in the morning? If heel pain is affecting your ability to exercise and meet your walking or running goals, relief is as close as your local podiatrist. Podiatric physicians are highly trained doctors who specialize in medical and surgical treatment of the foot and ankle. Ohio Foot and Ankle podiatric physicians are available across the state and are devoted to providing the highest quality foot and ankle care.
For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Stay hydrated and lots of sunscreen today. We'll see daytime highs soaring into the upper 80s to right around 90 degrees, and it will be humid and hazy. For tonight, mostly cloudy, overnight lows in the upper 60s, and then for Thursday, temperatures drop down into the low 80s, but we see chances of showers and thunderstorms returning. Isolated storms could be severe with damaging wind gusts, otherwise mostly cloudy skies, and we'll see the chances of rain continue into the weekend. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Dog friendly. And if you ain't down with that, this is Rothman and Ice.
2 o'clock, you need to remind me to take more medicine. That's a 4-hour.
Are we doing
thing.
NyQuil?
I'm doing no.
Someone has
sleepier than normal. I'm doing Dayquil with a Claritin chaser.
Oh, you're really spinning it
because
right now. This is a concoction
this is a
right
TLC
here.
special
yeah,
right here.
I'm doing Dayquil with a Claritin chaser because I don't think the Dayquil is going to give me the stopping up of the runny nose enough. That's what the Claritin's for. He's a middle reliever. The Claritin is going to eat an inning or two at because the Claritin you take, it's 24 hours.
Yeah.
He can just be like a spot guy and come in and make sure. Because what you want to do is you want to Because the NyQuil, what the NyQuil's designed to do is a mallet over the head so you can sleep. And so the problem with last night is the faucet was on, man. I couldn't get the nose. You're sleeping with 2 Kleenex shoved into your nose. Have you ever done that?
No, I have not.
Oh, well, your nose is running so much and you're trying to sleep and you just jam it out, just jammed all up with that Kleenex?
There's something about your concoction that I'm a little nervous.
Why?
I'm a little nervous because I think
I'm a Juilliard-trained pharmacist.
Part of Dayquil's job is to help with the congestion.
It's a decongestant. That's right. But I don't know if it has an antihistamine, and I don't really know what that means. And then the other thing is, I don't want it to be running. I don't want it to decongest while I'm on the air. So that's what the Claritin's
we need
for.
somebody that has medical experience and medical background to weigh in on this, because I don't think you should be doing that.
Why?
Dayquil and Claritin?
You mean decongest and dry it up at the same time?
No, I don't think that's the move.
I think that's the combo platter anybody would love.
I did that 2 weeks ago, and I'm still here.
Well, you were drinking Dayquil out of the bottle.
Yeah, you were measuring things over
and
there.
I spilled it on my shoe.
Which is amazing.
You were measuring things. I just took the pills.
Yeah, you were. I'm like, there's pills for that, man. You don't need to get that little cup out.
Oh, my goodness.
He did spill some orange scissor on that shoe.
By that.
I don't know. What was it, suede? What was the?
No, you know what? I asked my sister.
Wipe that right off?
No, I couldn't wipe it right off. It's just like I don't even know how to describe the texture.
What's that,
but
canvas?
I think
What is this, velvet?
I mean, what do you got? What's that shoe, canvas?
I think I can throw it in the washer, and I haven't done it yet.
Oh, shoes in the washer.
I think you can do it.
Yeah. Or that shoes in the dryer sound. That's a nice sound.
I need to start collecting newspaper.
Yeah. No, I got you. Let me
2 o'clock.
You want me to
we throw 2 more at the problem, and then we just keep riding that out.
Hey Siri.
That's right.
Come on, man.
Because I'm not. By the way, I'm not operating.
Listeners whose phones just exploded because of that.
I gotta get my boy right.
That's pretty funny.
I gotta get my boy
that means
right.
You talk to everybody's phone that was listening. That's amazing.
Yeah. So he's
right about that.
You gotta say SIRI because every phone
she can't spell
in the metro area.
Is this like a dog? When I usually say to the dog, "Hey, do you want a TREAT?"
And then they start to realize that means
when the dogs start to spell, that's a huge level up. When you have to go to another Morse code with the dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I just put an alert in my phone that says AR pill popping time.
That's beautiful. That's right. Actually, even before 2, because I think it took it about 9:50.
I got you.
All right, so that'll be good. But I think the Claritin Chaser is going to be fine because that's the stuff. It's kind of, in fantasy baseball, I don't know if you have holds in your league.
No, none. I'm on ESPN.
So some of you have wins, Ks, saves. Some people have holds.
Okay.
The Claritin's designed to be the holder.
The holder.
Yeah.
Understood.
Just don't give up any runs. Get in there. Get a couple people out. And be the guy I hired you to be today. Aaron Rodgers' final decision could be announced soon. I saw that on a headline. Should Pittsburgh be waiting on him, or should he be now worried that Pittsburgh might have preemptively say, "We wish you the best. We are who we are. We're moving forward"?
Well, let me throw this angle at you, AR, because I think a lot of the conversation, and I think rightfully so, has been rooted in what should Pittsburgh do with Aaron Rodgers? Should they wait? Should they not? What? Can you say it on the air?
Yeah, absolutely. Because we just started talking about baseball and
Belch.
Yes, it's exactly.
Or boy, the stick in the box.
Okay, this is fantastic. Timmy Belcher, just an awesome dude. Mount Gilead, the pride of Mount Gilead, Dodger World Series pitcher. Benadryl and Budweiser. Nighty night. That sounds like a good concoction. But if you got to pitch the next day, Belch, what happens?
Well, Belch
just IV it up?
He was every 5th day.
Well, that's right. He made it, 14, 15 years? He should know what he's talking about.
Living the good life right there.
I wonder if that's from him or the trainer to him. Like, that may be what they did back in the month back in the late 80s.
Sounds like a player concoction right there. I don't think that's coming from the
Budweiser.
There you go.
Yeah, the problem is we're trying to ride this out during the day. We don't night, I can handle that.
Yeah.
Trust me, there's plenty of things I can take that can knock me out. I'm talking about trying to be functional today.
Well, listen, the good thing for you is you've got Belcher on deck with that concoction. We're going to talk.
Speaking of going to the pen.
We're going to talk to Bobby at 1:30, and you know he's a master of cooking up these type of things. So I'm sure he will have something ready for you to go as well. I wanted to throw this at you guys real quick before we get to Schefty. If you're Aaron Rodgers right now, and look, he's on the fence clearly with whether or not he wants to play, retire, all that stuff. He had some stuff in his inner circle when it comes to people not having good health, and that's delayed some of this as well. But you've sat back, if you're Aaron Rodgers, and you've watched the team that you think you're going to go to get rid of what was going to be a very helpful piece in George Pickens. I think that could be part of this delay now as well, is because he's sitting back and saying, well, the outlook of Pittsburgh's offense just a couple weeks ago looked a lot better than it does right now. They may make another move that he's on board with, but I think that subtraction from the equation may be bringing him some pause too. Because at Aaron Rodgers, in his mind, while I think he is a guy that's overly confident and should be based off what he's done in his career, I think he also realizes, I'm really not that dude anymore. I really can't pull a team out of a hole and drag them to a high level of success. So now you take away what would have been a very dominant, I think, 1-2 punch at wide receiver in DK and George Pickens. And maybe that's him. That's baked into this too right now as well. Or is this dude saying, oh, how good is the offense really going to be if I do go over there right now?
It's probably on paper. On the surface, I think you make a great point. You really do, because it's all about talent in the NFL. But I would go a little deeper with this and say that there could be a little addition by subtraction in that this is a immature, inconsistent receiver who may not mesh well with a veteran who's got one last lap. And if he's a lazy route guy or I can't get through to him, that it may not be anything that bad that he's gone. I'm with you on that. On the surface, it seems like you would think that that's a real impact on Rodgers deciding. If you depleted your talent in your receiver room, that would have an impact. But I'm curious if Aaron Rodgers would think like, this guy's he's not my kind of guy.
I don't know, man. I think if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm looking at this as I'm trying to squeeze every last drop out of this lemon that I can possibly
get. You got Metcalf, though.
But I want more, and I really want to contend. And I think if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if I'm contending at the highest of levels and going into games against Lamar and Joey B and saying, I can go toe-to-toe with those guys, with the Roman Wilsons and Calvin Austins of the world, opposite DK. That's just how I would look at it if I was Rodgers.
Caleb Johnson in the running back room, right?
Yeah, he's a pretty good player.
You got Metcalf. So I'll ask it this way. I give you Pickens and Najee Harris or Metcalf and Johnson.
I want Metcalf and Pickens is what I want. Okay. That's where my head would be at. That's what I would want.
Yeah. I'm not telling you you're wrong because talent wins, but he has just not been consistent. And I wonder if Rodgers and Pickens would have just been an explosion in a bad way.
You can say the same thing about DK based off of some of his antics as well.
We'll get an update on Mr. Rogers' neighborhood next in 2 minutes with Adam Schefter, Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak high. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
When you're starting a home improvement project, a few big questions always come up. Who can I trust? Will they be there if something goes wrong? And lastly, how much is this going to cost me? At Newman Roofing, we've been answering those questions for over 30 years. As a family-owned and operated company that takes pride in every aspect of the job, with family members involved in each department of the company, we treat your home like it's our own. That means clear communication, no shortcuts, and a white glove experience from start to finish. And when it comes to cost, we get it. That's why we offer flexible financing options so you can get the quality your home needs at a price that works for your budget. Don't just take our word for it. With over 700 five-star reviews on Google, families across Central Ohio are sharing their Newman Roofing experience. For roofing, siding, and gutter solutions built around family, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
NFL Playbook with ESPN's Adam Schefter.
Sponsored by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
All right, he's the senior NFL insider for ESPN. Our friend Adam Schefter is on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fancast hotline. All right, my man, how you feeling?
Hello there, guys. What's going on?
All good. Okay, so we're in June. We're looking at a mandatory mini camp here coming up in, about 6 days? Any update? Any update on what Pittsburgh is thinking about Rodgers, or what any tea leaves you can find for us?
As of last night, they hadn't heard anything from him. So, I mean, could he call up today and say, okay, let's get this deal done before the mandatory minicamp? He certainly could. There had not been, as of last night, any indication of that. I would have thought naturally that would be a logical time to get this deal done in the next week or so that he could participate in the mandatory minicamp next week from June 10th to the 12th. Now, typically teams cancel the activities before the last day, and it doesn't even happen on the last day. So you're talking about realistically a 2-day mandatory minicamp. But the fact of the matter is, if Aaron Rodgers is not there, that means that he will not have worked with his new coaches, new teammates, new city, new offense, new everything, other than the one throwing session he had with DK Metcalf. And if he wants to go play, he can do whatever he wants. He's talented enough. It doesn't preclude him from signing with Pittsburgh before training camp starts. But it just seems a little odd to me that that's how you'd want to step in.
Shefty, and I know you can't dive into the mind of Aaron Rodgers, but we were talking about previously before we brought you on that now that George Pickens isn't in the mix, maybe that's factoring into his decision. No, not at all. So Pickens not being there. Okay.
Yeah, no. I don't think one player, is going to influence his decision and say, oh, boy, they traded George Pickens. Now I'm not going to sell with Pittsburgh. I don't think that's the case at all.
You getting any feeling at all that Pittsburgh might have their own little silent deadline on their own at all?
No.
None?
No,
okay.
No, because if that were the case, they would have moved on already. And it's not like they can move on to many other options. Really, the only other option in my mind would be, okay, you know what, we're going to call Atlanta and see if we could get Kirk Cousins out of there. That would be an option. And they haven't aggressively pursued that. So, no, I think that they've been thinking all along, as the owner of the team himself has stated, that they believe Aaron Rodgers is going to sign there. He just hasn't yet. He just hasn't. So everybody continues to wait.
A lot of news surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. Something that's been popping up in the NFL circles the last couple of days is, Pittsburgh may be trying to acquire tight end Jonnu Smith. What's the latest on that, Shefty?
Well, the two sides, they've had some conversations. I don't get the sense that it's heated or imminent or anything like that. But it's been a feeling out process to see where it's at. And then I was told Pittsburgh wasn't doing it. And then yesterday, Donald Parham Jr., one of their tight ends, tore his Achilles. And then there were more conversations with Jonnu Smith. And I don't know that the two were necessarily related, but if you lose a tight end to a season-ending torn Achilles, it certainly doesn't hurt to inquire about the availability of Jonnu Smith. And so could he still be traded to Pittsburgh? Yes. Do I think it's likely? Probably not, but they are checking into it.
All right. Any other news on Trey Hendrickson on the stalemate there in Cincinnati?
I was told that the two sides have had some, I guess, how do we say this? Lots of conversations. That's what I've been told. I don't know that it's close, but at least the two sides have been talking. So that's encouraging.
Who is closer to getting a deal done with their franchise, T.J. Watt or Trey Hendrickson?
Very hard to answer that. I'll just say this. I would think that both guys, by the time the start of the season rolls around, you would think that both guys would have new deals. That would be common sense to think that, because I think that Pittsburgh wants to take care of T.J. Watt and wants to keep him. Same with Cincinnati and Trey Hendrickson. And so that's kind of where it's at. But I don't know that a deal is imminent in either case right now.
You know, you start thinking about this year in Kansas City and whether they are still a Goliath and the team to beat and all that. And Mahomes has been so clutch, but they won so many one-score games and got torn to shreds in the Super Bowl. You got a kind of an early feel on whether they have a weakness is probably the wrong word, but because they're really so damn good. But they used to be the team to beat. Are they still in your minds going into this offseason, this season?
I don't look at them as the team to beat. I look at them as a team to beat. I look at them as being a really good team that, listen, what they've done, very, very few NFL franchises ever have done. And it is certainly a situation where they're going to be competitive and challenging, but I think the field around them is more competitive.
So if I gave you, I don't know, 3 NFL teams to ride this year, you get 3 to make one win, you get 3. They would be amongst your 3 or no?
I don't know that. I don't know. If I'm going to handicap the top 3 teams, yeah, I think you'd probably have to put the Chiefs in there because of everything they've done. But, I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel really good about Buffalo, Baltimore, Cincinnati, the Chargers. Like, there's a lot of good teams.
Detroit and Philly again?
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't feel like Kansas City's better than any of them. I feel like Kansas City is absolutely capable of beating any of them. But I feel like, it's fairly well balanced. There's 7-8 teams here that are really good.
Yeah, there's no doubt, Schefter. 2 of the better teams in the league did some business this week when it came to a pass rusher. 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles making a deal with Bryce Huff. Talk about that and that player.
Well, here's a player that cost the Eagles a lot of money that never really found his way in Philadelphia. The Eagles couldn't afford to carry his money, so they're eating about $9 million, and the 49ers are absorbing the rest. And the reason the 49ers are taking it on and believe in him is they lost a lot of talent, but more important, Robert Saleh is back as their defensive coordinator, the former Jets head coach. And Robert Saleh coached Bryce Huff in New York and loved Bryce Huff in New York. And Huff was most productive under Saleh. So I think the 49ers are banking that they will get the best of Bryce Huff with Robert Saleh there, and he will be somebody that produces and is worth the cost along their defensive line.
We talked about the Belichick buyout dropping to $1 million, which I thought that was kind of strange that I know North Carolina wanted him badly, but it's like you haven't even coached a game yet and your buyout drops $9 million. It's like they wanted him that badly that they gave him that kind of an easy way to wiggle out. I would think if both were very committed to each other that would have kind of stayed a little higher than it is. Were you surprised at the way that was contractually drawn up?
No, I think they are committed to each other. But I also think that it's a situation where, Bill probably, wanted that in there. I'm sure that was something that North Carolina was not in favor of. But in any negotiation, you stick to your points. And I don't think Bill is looking to get back to the NFL. Nobody hired him last year. And he obviously, I don't think, felt overly confident that he was going to get a job in the NFL this year. So I know it's a fun thing to talk about. I just don't know how relevant it really is.
All right, my man. Great stuff as always. Be well, and we'll talk to you next week.
Guys, have a great week. Thanks for having me. We'll talk next Wednesday.
You got it. Senior NFL insider Adam Schefter on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. All right, the little trip to Memorial has produced some serious content. We'll get to that next. And is the media failing in a certain obligation this time of year? We'll talk about it with you next Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
When an orthopedic injury or condition gets in the way of life, there is nothing more important than finding a physician you can trust. At Orthopedic One, you'll find Central Ohio's most trusted team of orthopedic experts, ready to listen to your concerns and work with you toward the best possible outcome. In fact, more people trust Orthopedic One than any other practice in Central Ohio. Start with the specialists. Start with orthopedic1.com.
It's a different world today than it was 30 years ago when I started Care Heating and Cooling. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, 30 years ago, you were the first to warn of companies using service technicians as salespeople, of abusing the trust that a service technician has. With the big conglomerates now buying companies all over Central Ohio, this has become the normal business model.
It's all about greed. The conglomerates know they can make a lot more money by incentivizing their technicians to sell air conditioners instead of fixing them. They train their techs to take advantage of a customer when they are the most vulnerable.
Dad, that is not how we were taught. In 2024, Care Heating and Cooling was awarded a BBB Torch Award for ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
If your garage door is so rusty that every time you open it, you think, I should probably get a tetanus shot. We are Deluxe Door Systems. For 30 years, we've fixed crappy garage doors straightforward, honest, and for less than you think. DeluxeDoorSystems.com.
Common Man here. I want to talk to you about my buddy Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. It's rare that a business comes along and offers you such great quality, service, price. If you or someone you love or like, or even strangers on the street tell you they need a jeweler, tell them you got a guy, and that guy is Bob Capace at Worthington Jewelers.
I'm Bob Capace, and I'm your guy.
Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington, worthingtonjewelers.com, where Columbus gets engaged.
Looking to buy a home? With a 5-1 adjustable rate mortgage from CME Federal Credit Union, you can lock in a low rate starting as low as 5.5% for the first 5 years. Visit CMEFCU.org today to learn more. Terms and conditions apply. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing lender.
Hi, here are some ways to listen to The Fan. You can download the Fan app, or listen at home on your smart speaker, or open up the iHeartRadio app, or hold your head out the window and hear Common Man scream. Happy listening from the dopes at The Fan.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. No one funks up the work microwave like these two. Fish again? You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Got a text from a buddy of mine, Matty, last night. Chanel number 5. She's too young. From Total Sports, TotalProSports.com. The headline reads, Bill Belichick has officially quit job. That's the headline.
Okay.
I get this about 7:30 last night. And I'm thinking, holy cow, it finally just went that way. The way people have been predicting it could go.
Yeah.
Then I click into the story, of course, because they'll get credit for it. And it's this website pulling the comment that Peyton Manning made to me on Wednesday at the Memorial about not doing the Manning cast.
They gotcha, huh?
But it's exact. Like, are we that starved for content? And I'm okay. That's fine. It's like, it says, obviously, Belichick seems busy right now coaching football. Manning told 97.1 The Fan reporter. So he won't be back this year. I mean, he had plenty of time for TV last season. He wasn't coaching. Yeah. And he was a regular guest on the Manning cast. And now I'm thinking back to myself, when I talked to Manning, it didn't even hit me that way. Because I asked him, are you going to be able to wrangle in Bill again? And he's like, he's really busy right now. That didn't really hit me. That
my mind didn't go there either.
It was all a final thing that he wouldn't be doing it. And then I started thinking, you said Pro Football Talk just plucked the Larry Fitzgerald. Pros shouldn't play Olympic flag football. And then Steph Curry saying, if I had a game-winning shot that I would pass to right now it'd be Jimmy Butler. And the Warriors are going crazy about it. And it just reminds me of, we're in June and there is no content. And then I see this headline today, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Why is sports media taking the hype out of the NBA and NHL finals? John Momola writes, sports media used to focus on storylines, not market size. Sports media used to focus on matchups, not television ratings. He couldn't be more right. I mentioned this 2 weeks ago. It makes me sad that if you call yourself a sports fan and you need LeBron or Steph or somebody like legendary or New York or LA, like if you need that to watch a great matchup,
you're not a real sports fan in my mind.
You can't be. You can be a real sports fan, but you can be only in your own bubble, is my point.
To me, you're not.
Like, you can be a diehard fan. Like, I guess I would have the question, if you're a diehard Blue Jackets fan, a diehard Blue Jackets fan, I'm going to assume that you love the sport of hockey and not just the hockey that's in your city, and you will watch tonight. You will watch the Stanley Cup because it's a great matchup. It's a matchup of the defending champs against the Edmonton Oilers, the team back in the day.
Mm-hmm. With Connor freaking McDavid.
The fact that...
Come on.
The fact that Canada hasn't won a cup since 93. And you've got Bobrovsky against Skinner. Skinner's been solid, but not great. Bob's been pretty good, getting a lot of run support in the playoffs. The fact that you have the best defense, perhaps against the best offense. You know, it's just, there's so many great storylines. And I think this occurred to me last week or 2 weeks ago, that if they're not your team, you won't watch. Are we at that point in sports?
I'm not at that point, AR. I'm going to thoroughly enjoy both the Stanley Cup final and the NBA finals because this is it. And it's two sports that we all really, not all, I enjoy at a high level. And this is for the ultimate prize. And whenever I get to that point as a fan in sports, no matter what sport it is, I'm going to tap in. I'm going to be tapped into this thing. The people that tout ratings for whatever reason that get off on that stuff, I don't understand that.
I think it's ego for the fan.
Well, you get
on how many people watch it, and if you were one of them, it makes you feel like you were a part of something.
You get nothing out of it, though. Yeah. You're not getting any type of financial benefit from this. No. The league is, the teams are. You get nothing out of it. So when I sit down tonight and the Oilers and the Panthers are on, I'm going to enjoy that. I'm going to sit down tomorrow and watch two mid-major programs or mid-market programs in Oklahoma City and Indiana get after for the ultimate prize, and I'm going to enjoy that as well. I do blame, though, some of the national TV programming that's out there because a lot of the times throughout the year, especially when it comes to the NBA, no matter how good or bad certain teams are or in certain markets, they're going to talk about them over some of these cool stories that I think are happening, like a Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers who went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year.
How they constructed it.
No question.
How they traded for him. They don't get Halliburton. They don't trade for Siakam.
And on the flip side of this, you have Oklahoma City who made a unbelievable trade to get SGA in the Paul George trade. And now here he is as the face of the league as the MVP. And so a lot of times when you see the First Takes, the facilities on FS1, those type of shows, it's Lakers, it's Steph,
big market,
it's the Knicks, it's the big market.
Well,
and I understand. I understand why they do it, but some of the blame has to fall on their feet as well for not shining a light on some of these young stars around the league that aren't playing in the big market. So my anticipation for the NBA Finals, the ratings aren't going to be good. We all know that going into this, it's not going to be good. But I think what matters most is the basketball part of it. On the hockey side of it is what you're going to get on the ice. And I think both series have a chance to be pretty doggone good. And now you're going to see, especially on the NBA side of it, some of the tomorrow's stars today. And I think that's what's blossoming in that league. And I think that's what it should be about, is not needing the LeBrons and the Stephs every single year to carry this thing, because eventually you're going to have to hand the keys over to somebody else. And I think that's happening right before our eyes in the NBA, and I think it's a good thing.
I'm the last guy that probably should be rooting for this. I love old school. I grew up with it. It was always Boston and Philly and the Lakers against Boston, and obviously when the Bulls came about. Mm-hmm. But I just feel like we're failing because we're so caught up in that you have to be legendary for us to watch. I agree. New blood is good. Yeah. It really is, especially, because I understand big market. And I was, if the Yankees played the Dodgers in the World Series, everyone, that's okay.
We got it last year. It was awesome.
I mean. It was awesome.
It was awesome.
And I felt like, okay, at that point, if you got it, of course you'll take it. My point is, when we don't get it, why are we so averse to it? It's weird. Like the Oilers, to me, are the best offensive team. The Panthers are the best defensive team. I mean, Panthers have the number one kill, and the Oilers' power play is like 30%. Like, there are so many narratives. Mm-hmm. We had Bobrovsky. He's going after another one. And I'll tell you, if I had to put my money on it, because I think it's a coin flip, and the Oilers have home ice, I'd probably bet Florida and root for Edmonton. In fact, the bet I would probably make right now is Florida in 6 at plus 450. If you can nail it right on the number, getting it in 6. But the Oilers are, the Panthers are plus 110 and the Oilers are minus 130. It almost feels like a little too strong for my liking when one team has Bobrovsky and the other has Stuart Skinner, who needs to be really good, not just solid. He's been better in the playoffs in the regular season, but not crazy better. And Bobrovsky's been as good as you'd hope, and he's getting a lot of run support. And I would go for them as far as winning another one, but
kind of a rough sweater on sweater series, though.
Color-wise?
Yeah.
A little
rough. Red against orange?
Yeah, a little rough there. Both finals not great, honestly. The OKC with the baby blue and orange, and then Indiana with the navy blue and yellow, and then Stanley Cup final, we've got the orange and blue.
Not enough contrast.
Yeah, it's a little tough on the eyes.
Navy, red, white, and gold, or whatever they got brewing.
That ain't it. It's not great.
Yeah. It's a decent logo, though. I mean, the Panthers pretty strong.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. Oilers is pretty basic, but it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Anyway, when I saw that headline today, I was like, you're on it, because we were on it a couple of weeks ago. It just felt like when the new blood just comes rushing in, it makes everyone feel, and we're all into nostalgia. We're all into like retro and something that matters, and it feels cool when you have an aging veteran trying to win one more.
But this matters just the same to me. To me, it does. All of this stuff. This is it, man. Like, these are the last few games we're going to get in these respective sports for these trophies, the Stanley Cup trophy and the Larry O'Brien trophy. Like, let's get it on. I'm excited about both.
Speaking of new school, the starter odds for Shedeur. We'll give those to you next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
The radio couldn't contain us, so we've taken over YouTube. Catch Morning Juice weekday mornings at 6 by searching 971 The Fan. Do it.
Hey friends, Beamer here. Listen to this. Wouldn't this sound nice? Clearer skin, better posture, improved digestion, better sleep, and more energy.
Just a few of the endless benefits clients have received with Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
If you're trying to get through your daily activities and you're noticing you can't because you're focusing more on your pain than being able to enjoy the moment, those are the patients that we're looking to treat because we can make a difference.
That's Dr. Ashley Caravelli, a medical director for QC Kinetics.
What we're doing at QC Kinetics is offering treatments that help with joint preservation. We use cutting-edge technology in our in-house lab to harness your body's natural healing powers and target the areas where you need them the most.
These are regenerative, non-surgical treatments, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader, delivering lasting relief to tens of thousands of patients.
What we do know is that the sooner we start treatment, the sooner you'll see relief.
So don't wait another minute. See if you're a good candidate for these non-surgical treatments for joint pain. The consultation is completely free.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Hollywood Casino Columbus is bringing the funny this summer. Tiffany Haddish takes the mic on Friday, July 18th with the Funny and Fearless Tour. Then Dion Cole Live hits the stage Friday, September 5th for a night of nonstop laughs. 2 comedy icons, 2 unforgettable nights. Get your friends, grab a drink, and get ready to laugh all night long. Big names, big laughs, only at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Tickets available at Ticketmaster. Visit HollywoodColumbus.com for more details. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Hi, this is Bob Masheter from Dick Masheter Ford. Thank you to all of Central Ohio as we head towards 60 years of doing business in the Buckeye State. Dad opened up in 1967 simply trying to offer a better way to buy a car, and we've been working ever since to serve our neighbors. We have served you through wars, recessions, and even a Chinese virus. Here is to serving you and your kids and your grandkids for the next 60 years, except on Sundays when we're closed, because it's the right thing to do. Still 24/7 at masheterford.net. Thanks.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Kroger brand 80% lean ground beef is on sale. 3-pound packages are only $3.99 a pound with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Swimming in debt? Save your summer with a debt consolidation loan from BMI Federal Credit Union. With rates as low as 8.99% APR, now is the perfect time to consolidate your debt. Visit bmifcu.org/consolidate for more details.
It's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, I got the nicest Google review today. Dewey from Gahanna said, "We cannot believe we are able to get the Pella look and quality at the cost we did."
I got a review too. Listen to this. These windows were great. Oh boy, for about a year. Looks like I'll need to renew, in quotes for some reason, my windows way too soon. Repeat customer?
Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
We can come the day you call us.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Brian, I've been meaning to ask you something.
Okay, ask away.
Sometimes when we're talking, I hear a little sparkling sound.
Is it when one of us says, all you have to do is point?
There it is. Did you hear that?
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic? Like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Prescription products require completion of an online consultation with an independent healthcare provider and are only available if prescribed. Subscription required. Additional restrictions apply. See website for more details and safety information.
Is Cialis Daily really better than Viagra?
If you like spontaneity, the answer is yes. So when the mood strikes, you're ready to go.
I felt like a young man again. My wife is definitely much happier.
When you take it, you're ready to go. Does Cialis Daily last longer than Viagra?
Guys are raving that their results last even longer.
My partner thinks that I am a rock star.
Because it is effective, I say I'm on a second honeymoon.
It's literally life-changing.
Does RexMD really work?
Over 85% of guys said not only does it work, they saw results the very first night. And you can get your first month free at freerexmd.com with medication delivered direct to your door. There's no copay, no doctor office visit, and your shipping is always free. Visit freerexmd.com to get your first month free. That's FREEREXMD.com.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Dylan Gonzalez. The Stanley Cup Finals will begin tonight as the defending champion Florida Panthers take on the Edmonton Oilers. Game 1 will take place up in Canada, and the series is a rematch of last year's Stanley Cup Finals. The Cleveland Guardians lost 3-2 last night in the Bronx versus the New York Yankees. Tanner Bibee pitched well last night but made a couple of mistakes, explains Guards manager Stephen Vogt.
He was cruising. This is one of his best outings of the year. So Tanner had looked good up until that point. So not even a thought to not send him back out. The fastball to Jazz was right down the middle, and then he hung the slider to Volpe. So kind of his only 2 mistakes of the night, and they didn't miss him.
And finally, the Cincinnati Reds were able to beat the Milwaukee Brewers 4-2 last night. Game 3 of that series is going on right now. Still no score early in that one. Breaking sports news when it happens on Ohio's sports destination.
Hitting a hole-in-one into your ear hole. Ew. This is Rothman and Ice.
All right, second hour of the program. Carp will swing by at 1:30. Get his concoction for the day. I did see that the Cleveland Browns are only through 3 days, or are they? They're only 3 days through their OTAs.
Yeah, they're getting after it, man. Yeah. Saw those guys buzzing around on the field today. Look, any type of football I can get, I'm here for it. You know, don't want to go crazy about some of the stuff we see and read right now, but yeah, they're up there getting it in. They are amongst a bunch of other teams in the league.
Practice stats. OTAs. I pointed this out 2 weeks ago when I saw a video of some guy, I don't know who it was, dropping back and doing a little 5-yard out with nobody rushing and nobody covering, and we're describing it as he connected.
It was dotting up out there?
You could do that in the hall. I could do that in the hallway right now.
Oh, man.
And anyone that could actually call the Browns race right now, unless you're in the coach's room or you know them specifically and you know that there's a heavy lean, how could you possibly predict this?
I would love to ask Kevin Stefanski this question. You know, last year...
Would you call him coach?
I would say
or
coach.
Would you call him Kev?
I'd call him
Stefanski.
coach. I'd call him coach.
Yeah.
I'd say coach. Last year, around this time, there was a head coach within your own division, and Mike Tomlin that said Russell Wilson was in pole position to be the starter prior to the season starting off. Coach, do you have a quarterback that's in pole position to be your guy? I love to hear his answer to that.
You know who my dad is?
I do, actually, Shador. I really do. Do you think, AR, that he has in his mind a guy right now that's in pole position to be the starter up there in Cleveland right now? Stefanski? You think he's got that guy?
There's 2 ways to look at this. He's got to win a game tomorrow? Yeah. I think he would have somebody in mind.
Okay, I agree with that. So let's take that question off the table. Board. Pole position.
How much leash does he have with Haslam?
Well,
plenty. Just can't lose all of them. Like, where is he? Like, I feel like they went. I mean, Haslam said we got to get the draft right, and they're rebuilding. And like, does Haslam really care whether they win 5 or 6 or 3 or 4? Like, does he really
think he does? But this is June. And when you're knee deep into the season and we get to November and you're looking up there as an owner and you're saying, we've only won 3-4 games, whatever it may be, I think that can change the emotional component of all of this.
I'm so glad you mentioned that because it's probably my biggest pet peeve in sports right now is when you go to these coaching hire press conferences and every buzzword imaginable. Professional, accountability, work ethic,
culture.
All this stuff. Oh, culture. And it's like everyone loves these words and they hit the headlines in the buzz city. And then what happens is what you just said. The rebuild becomes not a word that gets thrown around very much, even though you're in one. And then all of a sudden it's let's slide the goalposts and let's change some things. Let's play this guy and not this guy. And the coach is like, well, wait a minute. When I came in and you hired me, I told you we do it this way, and you were good with that. But what happens is what you just said. Pressure from the fans, pressure from the ownership. emotion, and then all of a sudden it's, I need to see growth. I need to see improvement. So does he have a guy? You said that he believes
pole position
is the guy?
Use the Mike Tomlin phrase that he used last year. How can you now?
I don't think so.
How can you now?
He was talking them all up before. Not that he would separate them now for us, but I would highly doubt. I think you brought up a good point. From a future standpoint, I've always leaned into who they drafted and when they drafted him. And that would make me feel like that Dylan would be ahead of Shedeur. Doesn't mean that Shedeur isn't showing better than him or won't in minicamp or whatever. Then all of a sudden, the pecking order changes. And I'm okay with that. But people that are predicting, and this is from, who's this from? Kimberly Martin?
So Kimberly Martin was on Get Up this morning, and she said this, quote, listen, in that building, there are people who believe that Shedeur can 100% be the starter of this football team. You said it's incumbent upon the Browns to put him in the situation. It's also incumbent upon Shedeur to do the work, which, talking to people in that building, they've said he is soaking up everything like a sponge. So when you hear someone say, or in this case, Kimberly Martin say that there's people in that building that believe that Shedeur can 100% be the starter, my question is that coming from players or coaches? Is that coming from guys in the locker room or the decision makers of the team? Because I do think that in time, the players around him will start to buy in to what he can be. And we saw some of the excitement from guys on draft day, or one of the draft days when Shedeur got selected, where they were tweeting at Shedeur their excitement to get him into Cleveland. So I think Shedeur will win over the locker room. Not that that's the end-all be-all, because that's not what this should be about. It's about ball and getting guys in and out of the huddle and executing at a high level, which I do think in time he will be capable of. But there's another positive coming out of Cleveland. Not that there aren't positives amongst the other guys as well, where Kimberly Martin is saying, I've talked to people in the building that believe that this guy's got a shot to be their starter, whether you want to believe that or not.
Yeah, I believe it. It just depends on whether they want to lean into the future or lean into experience. They got a guy who's 18 years in the league that's on the team, I would think, and knows Stefanski's offense in Flacco. So if you're going to lean into, we need that assurity, then he's the guy until he fails, or until the season fails. Not really him, until the record fails, until you're behind the 8 ball. You're 1-4. Okay, now what are we throwing Flacco out there for?
Because if he's good, to your point, AR, you cannot pull him.
Of course not.
You cannot pull him. You can't sell
trying to win games
at all. And that's why I think you have to remove one of these vets from the equation and make that a little cleaner. The other part of this, too, when we talk about the big picture, the long-term view of this when it comes to the decisions that are going to be made in the future at this position, is what type of trust does Jimmy Haslam have in Andrew Berry to execute this plan and make sure the draft capital that they acquired, trading with Jacksonville and getting that extra first-round pick, do you really believe as an owner that these guys can get it right? And so that's going to be, I think, or has to be part of the conversations behind the scenes with Jimmy Haslam and who else up there is really running the show that he trusts, is that looking at these guys, how they've built this team over the years, do we truly believe that, let's say if we win 4 or 5 games, that we want to run it back with them, and not only run it back with them, but this is going to be one of the most critical years into one of the most critical off seasons in the history of this program to find out what these young guys are right now that are on your roster. But if you do find out that both Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur aren't guys that you really believe in long term, do we have trust in the GM and the head coach that they are going to make one of the most important decisions in franchise history and use some of the most important draft capital we've ever acquired in the history of the Browns to get us headed in the right direction?
Listen, it'd be tough to give up on somebody if you hadn't seen enough.
Yeah.
You know, they drafted both of them, but they weren't high draft picks. So they didn't probably feel any real pull there. I think they feel a pull to get it right, like you said. Or better off maybe not to get it wrong. Like, I feel like you were the one that everyone else passed on Shedeur. You decided to trade up and get him late. So you feel like no one stole him from us. He slipped. He's got a chip on his shoulder. Everyone thinks he's pretty good. I have belief that certainly he'll get his shot. And they've been mixing up the reps and 7-on-7s and trying to maybe not fool the media a little bit, but, you know, they had an hour and 20 minutes where Flacco and Pickett were the ones with the first team reps. So that makes sense. And then they did the 7-on-7.
where it really gets real as far as the breadcrumbs we can follow is training camp. Like, that's when the rubber meets the road, and Kevin has to start getting a team ready to go for the season. Because you can mess around with the reps right now, and especially with young guys and Dylan and Shedeur. These guys probably really don't have a full grasp of the playbook and all of those things. So there's a lot swirling around their head. So OTAs, minicamp, to get things off to a clean start, I'm not surprised at all that Pickett and Flacco would lead the charge for the most part. But going into training camp and getting into those practices where it gets real and you have the likes of Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward and these players on defense really getting after to try to get themselves ready for practice, that's when we'll find out their belief and where their belief lies and who is their guy or how they want to distribute the reps. Right now, they can play the games all they want, which they should, right? Because you don't want to blow this up and make it bigger than what it really is, because right now it's just so basic with what these guys are going through. But, yeah, we'll find out based off their actions when we get to training camp what they're really thinking.
Most players have a little bit of a lean on who they'd like to see start, maybe just from watching, observing, or playing with them, especially the offensive guys. But the other part of it is that it sends a weird message to your team before the season when you're 0-0 that you're just moving to the future. So you have to hope that Gabriel or Shedeur are really earning it in practice, so you can sell that to the team that they're equal of the shot, that they deserve the shot. Because I'm here to tell you, this Browns team is probably going to be 0-4 or 1-3, and then everything changes. My feeling is that the Browns will go out there with Flacco, and if somehow he pulls an upset of Cincy, God forbid, your Ravens, like something weird happens, then you'll ride that. But I feel like it's a foregone conclusion that you could start the year with a vet or even Kenny and then let it fall from there. If Shedeur earns this and he looks the best, then you're not going to trick the team. He probably should start. But, boy, can you imagine Shedeur being picked where he picked, beat out all those guys for the job, and then having to open up against the Bengals and go to the Ravens and the Packers and go to Detroit. Like, all of a sudden, you got to question whether you are going to put him in a position to succeed or fail. I am not here to tell you they have to start him. I know it's fun to talk about, and if he earns it, I guess I'm all for it. But if they're on the fence at all, you do not start him. You let the 18-year vet take the lumps.
If it's close, right, I'm rolling with one of the kids. If one of the kids earns
and then ride them all the way out?
Well,
if they
I'm
go
saying coming out of training camp, let's say it's neck and neck between Dylan and Flacco or Shedeur and Flacco. This has got to be about the rookies. To me, that's what I would do, is find out what we have in those guys. We know what Flacco is. If we need to go back to that to make everybody feel good in time, you can always do that. So that's just the way I would approach it, but I'm not a head coach because I just think this year should be solely focused on that position and finding out whether Dylan or Shedeur have the goods to be your franchise quarterback moving forward.
On paper, this thing sets up, to me, exactly the way it does now. Flacco starts. You're playing some serious, tough teams early. You need some stability. He fails. All right, Kenny, you're up. If Kenny fails through London.
Just keep going down the line.
Well, the bye week's week 9. Let's say you're 2-6.
Yeah.
Going into that game. Then guess what? Pool sticks, dark night, Dylan and Shedeur, you get 10 through 18 to figure it out.
I hear what you're saying. I absolutely hear what you're saying. AR, I just don't think both Pickett and Flacco will be on the opening day roster. But I like your plan.
Of course.
But I don't think they're going to keep both,
Probably
nor should
not.
they keep both those guys.
Probably not. One of those guys might, or because you and I both don't think that if you drafted Dylan where you did, he'd have to flop in training camp for you to cut him.
Oh, yeah. He'd have to look horrible.
Because
they're not cutting him, though. Not a third-round pick. Not right now.
All right, we'll come back. Speaking of quarterbacks, should we stay away from this one in fantasy? That's next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Tryouts. We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same-game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. Summer is officially here, and so are the rising temperatures. Before you know it, you'll be wondering what else you can do to keep cool during the dog days of summer. You want to beat the heat and keep the AC in your home? Get Window Nation's energy-efficient vinyl windows. During their semi-annual sale, you can buy 4 windows and get 4 windows free. Plus a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows, and no money down, no interest, and no monthly payments until 2027. So how exactly do they keep their prices affordable? It's a great question. Window Nation works directly with the top window manufacturers in the country, which means all their windows are assembled right here in the USA. Plus, their windows come with a lifetime warranty, so you'll keep saving long into the future. Window Nation's semi-annual sale ends soon. So buy 4 windows, get 4 windows free, and a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows, plus pay nothing until 2027. Schedule your estimate right now, 866-90-NATION, or visit windownation.com. Once again, that number, 866-90-NATION, or go to their website, windownation.com.
We could tell you what makes Giant Eagle special, but we think our customers say it best.
I love the fresh produce. I love the fresh meat.
I'm pretty sure the fish guy knows me by now. We're buds.
I love to grill. That alone keeps me coming back.
The people that work here are so nice and so helpful.
Everybody loves the cakes from Giant Eagle.
On every shelf, in every department, we're always going for better because being your Giant Eagle matters.
This is my Giant Eagle.
This is my Giant Eagle.
This is my Giant Eagle.
Home means something different to everyone. But with Rocket Mortgage, home can mean even more. It can mean a college education, taming your high-interest debt, even a renovation. We've made it easier than ever to use your home equity. That home you worked so hard for, now it can work hard for you. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
This promo is for anyone who likes baseball or America or Terry Francona's scooter. The Reds are on the Fan. Catch all 162 games here on the Fan and 1460 ESPN Columbus and the Fan's HD2. Your home for Reds baseball, the Fan.
And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Scott Damaro.
Ohio's public school students are counting on our lawmakers to keep their promise to them as they finalize the next state budget. Our students are counting on the adequate, predictable funding model the Fair School Funding Plan provides. Our students are counting on you to call your lawmakers and tell them to support the future of our public schools.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy on it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding, over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Stay hydrated and lots of sunscreen today. We'll see daytime highs soaring into the upper 80s to right around 90 degrees, and it will be humid and hazy. For tonight, mostly cloudy, overnight lows in the upper 60s, and then for Thursday, temperatures drop down into the low 80s, but we see chances of showers and thunderstorms returning. Isolated storms could be severe with damaging wind gusts, otherwise mostly cloudy skies, and we'll see the chances of rain continue into the weekend. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Finding the sweet spot between the over and the under. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
I think just operationally, like, listen, you come from the college world where very few things are called into the huddle
where you have to command a huddle, operate an offense in the way you're asked to at this level. So I think just from an operation standpoint, you continue to see those guys grow and become more comfortable. And what we're after there is, like, there's going to be a moment where they get to their comfort level, and that's when they're going to be able to maximize, and feel confident out there. So they're doing a great job with their work habits and continuing to push each other in the right direction.
Tommy Rees. That's right. Former Notre Dame QB and has been with the Browns in their pass game specialist room and tight ends, and now he's promoted to OC.
Okay.
And he is ready to rock with the old growth chart.
That's not surprising to hear, right? Regardless of how much football Dylan Gabriel played in college, you look at Shador and him going from Jackson State and to Colorado for a couple years. Now you're in the big leagues, man, and there's a lot to embrace. There's just so much to learn, and so I'm sure they're taking baby steps with those guys, and that should be the process. But it will be very fun to see how they go about this action, and especially like what you can get from either quarterback. Tommy Rees as the offensive coordinator. Do you look at Dylan Gabriel's skill set and feel like maybe there's a higher ceiling there? You look at what Shador does as a pure passer. Maybe you go down more of a traditional offense. Like, there's just so many things that they have to figure out and get to know these guys even more than what they learned from them throughout the draft process. And that's what's going to make this fun. And it's going to be so Browns if they found a way to find their franchise quarterback via this path, one of the wildest paths that we've seen. Like, we had the whole Michael Penix draft selection when they had Kirk Cousins in-house. That was wild. And then we got to this year, and you look at what the Browns did and doubling down on 2 rookie quarterbacks, trading back up to get Shador. All of it was just odd. But no matter how you get it done, your fans are not going to care if you get it done and identify a QB1. And if that is the case for them, that's the dream scenario. It's that one of these guys is your guy. And then you go into next year's draft, and you're feeling really good with what you can do because of the high-end draft capital that you're going to have.
And you brought up something that's a must. You can't go into that draft with not enough information. Right. You can't. Yeah. It's the most important thing, because you got to know whether you want to give up on one of these guys or both and move to the other, or lean into that we may have found something. And that would be so advantageous if they can get it. So I agree with you. It's the most important thing about the season. It's really not about wins. It's really not.
No,
no one's going to say that out loud.
No, I agree with you, AR. Like, the guys in the locker room, the vets, the Denzel Wards, the Myles Garretts, the Njokus, like, those guys want to win. But I think big picture, what you're saying, like the fan base in the front office, it's a little bit of a different perspective.
Myles wanted to win, and then he can go home every day. That's what I mean.
For $40 million a year.
He's winning in the bank account area, which he would have won anyway, but that's the strangest thing, honestly. To go from where he was emotionally, I'm going to applaud the Browns. They sold him on something.
They did.
Probably money, but they talked him off of it. They did. He could have stayed in. He had already written the letter.
Yeah.
You're already dirty. I mean, he was already right. He was already mud wrestling. He didn't have to come back, and he did. Biggest dilemma for me in fantasy football is always whether or not to take the number one, what I would think, weapon on the board versus a running back. You and I struggle with this every year. Receivers are technically now ranked above running backs depending on your points total. And where I got Saquon Barkley last year at like 9, he certainly won't be there at 9 this year. But I feel like I'd stay away from him anyway this year because it'd be hard to kind of follow up what he did last year. But I saw this as far as quarterbacks, because I know you like a couple of them. And this was from our friend, he's with ESPN, Eric Moody. Which of these fantasy quarterbacks are you staying away from this summer or just thinking about? Kyler Murray, Goff, Herbert, Stroud. There's only one really.
Before I give my answer on that, the C.J. Stroud stuff it's pretty interesting right now with this shoulder injury. And his head coach, D'Amico Ryans, spoke to the media about what's going on with C.J. and where did this injury come from. And here was a little bit of the back and forth.
Did he have any work on his shoulder in the offseason? That's it for C.J., guys. On the questions, that's it. What I said, that's it for him. Like, it's general soreness, and we're taking extra precaution with him. We're not going to rush him into anything. He'll be fine. When the moment is for him to be ready to go, he'll be ready to go.
Okay. They're saying he'll be ready to go.
So why dodge the question then?
It's a fair question.
If the answer is so easy.
Yeah.
That, oh, no, we're just playing it cautiously. He didn't have any serious work done. We want to make sure he's right. If that's the answer, then why dodge the question?
And I hear you, AR, and I'm curious. Yeah. I would love to hear his response. Look, they're labeling it as general soreness, and it might be that, right? He's also at a point in his career to where CJ's played a couple years in the league. He understands that system. You probably don't need him to go out there and grind it out if he's not feeling 100%. But in the same way we talked about really finding out what's going on with the Browns and their offense in that quarterback room, we'll find out here in a little bit, mandatory minicamp and training camp, whether or not he's spinning it. And not just out there lobbing passes to guys and just going through the motion, but actually letting it rip. That's where we'll find out more about CJ. So some concern, a little bit of concern right now down there in H-Town. Hopefully CJ will be good. Going back to your question, was it the guy I would avoid or the guy I would want of those four? Between Kyler, Herbert, Goff, and CJ.
The guy you would avoid. I think I know your answer.
Ooh.
I think the right answer right now, if anyone was drafting, would have to be Stroud. Because
now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. You don't have enough information.
Yeah,
you cannot take it.
You.
I think the one you're going to say
to avoid is
Herbert.
Yeah.
Because of the lean into the running game now with Hampton and Najee?
Yes. Yes, good call. So, I will say this. I do like Ladd McConkey's outlook as far as what he can be.
I agree.
As a real fantasy weapon.
Then you draft him.
But I do have a little hesitancy when it comes to Goff now switching coordinators. And maybe I'm too deep in the weeds and overthinking that because the talent is there and they got dudes all over the place with Laporta, Amon-Ra, and the running back room that they have. But Kyler, I would probably draft AR Goff and CJ still before Kyler. Mm-hmm. I would. As my quarterback. The pieces around them, like the piece I want from Arizona the most is Trey McBride until I see Kyler and Marvin Harrison Jr. get on the same page. But he's just so inconsistent that I can't trust Kyler at this point as my go-to fantasy quarterback.
Yeah, Goff is interesting because I think in my mind it'd be like, all right, he's the only one I'd be taking. And then I'm like, boy, is he just a streamer? Is he a guy with, You're
getting hardly no rushing stuff from him. I know. So you're dependent on a bunch of yards and obviously passing touchdowns.
Yeah, Herbert was no better than ninth of the quarterbacks in pass attempts, passing yards, passing touchdowns, carries, and rushing yards. He's now finished outside the top 10 3 years in a row. Mm-hmm. And I had him the one year that he could have taken me to a title.
Yeah.
And he failed in that one last week of the playoffs, but
Goff last year, real quick, had 56 yards rushing the entire year. He ain't going anywhere.
No, you loved Goff for one reason. Got a good arm, and he plays indoors, and he had weapons like Laporta and Amon-Ra. And he played all of his games, like I'd say 85% of his games inside.
It was like one or two games last year outside of the Dome. What you're getting with Goff, though, is 3 straight years of north of 4,400 yards in the air and almost 30 touchdowns. That's what he's bringing to the table. But in fantasy, we care about the other stuff.
Kyler's always interesting because he was better completing passes than he's been in a while. And you said it's with Trey McBride, he's got.
If I saw better stuff from he and Marvin, he'd be the slam dunk guy of the 4 I would want. I just don't know.
Underwhelming. I agree.
Yeah.
All right, we'll come back in 2 minutes with our guy, Carp. And you know about the Salt Life. Carp may have a new Sweet Life sticker on the back of his ride. We'll ask him next. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
Switching to Progressive is a game-winning call. And that reminds us of other game-winning calls in the history of sports.
So it was the fourth quarter and we're down by 5. Sweat pouring down my face. Suddenly it hit me. If only I could wrap part of the towel around my forehead. And that's how I became the first basketball player to wear a headband.
Okay, not really a game-winning call, but it was a good call. You can make one too. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, who's a good boy?
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Beds are us. When dreams sunk in, beds are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
Beds are us. When dreams sunk in, beds are us.
A healthy body needs good food. This summer, the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce is sponsoring Sun Meals, a summer food program where kids eat free. Children under 18 receive healthy meals and no sign-up is required. Locations may be right in your neighborhood. Call 1-866-348-6479 or visit education.ohio.gov/kidseat for meal locations and times. That's education.ohio.gov/kidseat.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
There's nothing like ripping off your pants and enjoying some lobster bisque. This is Rothman and Ice.
Well, this is the guy to glom onto for those premium seats.
Oh, God.
Because, he's probably put deposits down on a few of them.
No doubt.
Maybe monopolized, give me half of them, and then maybe he can dole them out, be a big hit with his friends. He is with us always. He is the one and only Bobby Carpenter from Morning Juice. My man, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Yeah, those premium seats, those things are looking pretty solid, Rothman. To be honest, my dad, when I was telling me, he goes, how much do they cost? And I was like, I think it's $6,000 a seat. He goes, I thought it'd be 10. So apparently they're coming in under market.
Yeah, so for two people to go sit in the $400 seats, or you said $6,000 a pop for the season. What do we have? We have 7 home games? Is that right?
Yeah, sounds about right.
All right, so 7 home games, so $12,000. So two people for 7 home games, that's $1,700 and change per seat, per game. Strong to quite strong. It's a good seat, but I want to remind you of something. So when we were together in Dallas for the national title game, and I saw those orchestra pit seats in Dallas, how good could those be? These aren't those. I know these are going to be encased and they'll be above ground, but the ones in Dallas seemed so useless to me, but maybe I'm wrong.
So here's the thing. I think you have the suite level below, and then in Dallas they figured out wait, nobody can see anything, especially because they're behind the benches, which sounds cool, but then you're just looking at dudes' rumps the whole time. A nice rump roast down there for you on Thanksgiving, Rothman. And then all of a sudden, because everybody does it now. I mean, I watched Zeke. We were down there for the national championship. I was like, man, where did Zeke go? And Zeke had just wandered on into one of the suites on the field level down at the Mercedes-Benz deal. And next thing he's sitting there having some bevies and hanging out with the folks. So, but you have I guess they do have seats above. So I think there's going to be a little row, a little area where you'll have those nice big seat backs above, and then you can go down if you want to get a little crazy or be secluded in the loge.
Well,
so you've got that option.
Here's what I heard, and maybe you can, because I heard something different, and you're right. Just learning about football and having some food. There's nothing wrong with a little feast on our time, said Zeke. But I heard that those seats above the 400 were separate from the suites, that those are not... Because I originally thought what you did, double-decker bus that thing, inside, outside, you get the weather, you want to perch, go on up there and sit above, you can. I think they're separate, Bob. We'll have to find out about that. Maybe you can do some digging. I think the suite itself that's what the suite is. You got a monitor in there, you're on the field level, and then the 400 are the big boys, are the 6,000. Because I don't think the prices for the suites have come out yet.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, then maybe that is real. And here's the one thing. So people, and you might be right in saying this, and if you want to be like Rothman, watch that backfield view, know what the quarterback's seeing, feeling. I mean, it's great. If it's in your end zone, it's awesome. If it's away, it's probably, 100 yards that you're staring across the field. But, we were talking about this today, and it's been a topic of conversation. Me and Schlegs did our YouTube show. We had Joshua Perry on yesterday. Ward was talking about it with us today. And it comes down to this, people are mad at Ross Bjork. Ross Bjork, he just moved into a house, okay? And then all of a sudden you realize like, the house is really great, but you know what it has? It's got a lot of landscaping. Okay, it's got the pool out back. It's got to get a new roof, new HVAC, and all these things. Like, yeah, you got yourself the best house on the block. You're Ohio State. You've got the biggest athletic department budget. But you know what? You also have is 36 kids that need to be fed and all these different things. And so I think they're trying to balance it. And I asked them, here are your options. You could move the little front part of South Stands, and you're going to move the band, which, by the way, the band wasn't there until that became permanent in 2000. So it's not like that's where the band was at, when, Woody Hayes was stalking the sidelines. They were in the North Rotunda then. So you could either, put this in, make some cash this way to help keep things sustainable. B, you could raise everybody's ticket price throughout the whole stadium, which I was like, I've already had that happen, and a lot of season ticket holders, I go, put the seats in for that. Or option C, we could get out the Elon Musk Doge chainsaw and start going to some of the sports. So I go, in the grand scheme of things of what could have happened, I go, I think this is probably the least invasive and least intrusive. And is it going to help game day environment? Probably not a ton, but the reality is they got to generate some dollars, and the best thing to help environment is if you get something off of those noon kicks. But like Ross didn't get that handed to him either. Like that was pre-cooked with Kevin Warren and said, "Hey, Ohio State, you guys probably should have spoke up more back then because you're going to be the lead sled dog who's just pulling those big noons, Rothman, and the Iditarod.
Mm-hmm.
You're just pulling those things. You got like 8 pooches, except you got one direwolf out in front, and he's the one, Ohio State, that just pulls it for 6 or 7 games a year."
Yeah, no doubt, man. So a lot of moving pieces, but I think you laid it out well. You brought up Zeke, talking about the stadium setup down there at Mercedes-Benz, and I want to ask you about the running backs now, currently over there at the Woody, and what you've seen and what you're hearing about that room under Coach Loughlin's watch.
Well, I mean, Coach Loughlan obviously has the best arms of any running backs coach to my knowledge. I believe, what's Dallas's old running back? I can't think of his name for a second. He's at Oklahoma, I believe.
DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, so he's over there. So he might have something to say, but Coach Locke's got some sweet arms. As you look at it, though, I think a lot of people think, okay, James Peoples, really good. He's got a real J.K. Dobbins feel to him, like the way he's built, the way he runs. He's even got kind of the J.K. smile, like always just a happy dude. And so you feel really good about that. Because let's be honest, if you lost probably the best pair of running backs in Ohio State history to play together since like going back to like Pete Johnson and Archie. Those are in Bash Nagel and guys like that. And then you brought in C.J. Donaldson, who's transferred from West Virginia. He's leaned down. I think he's going to be really good, and he's going to be more versatile than people think because I think he's like just getting his weight a little bit more under control and where that's at. And then the guy who I really like, who I think is going to probably get a little more play than people think as long as he stays healthy, is Bo Jackson. Like I was watching him lift the other day, and I'll be damned, like he looks like freaking Ricky Williams, man. He is big. He's got thick shoulders. Like he's an explosive guy. Now he's young, but I think he's going to be someone, Matty, that's going to push for some time.
Are the Browns okay with kind of duping their veterans a little bit? Like, I mean, I know guys want to win and everything, but they've got to worry about the future. Can you trick the locker room, or they may not have to? Because I guess if they had to play a game tomorrow, you'd go with Flacco and an 18-year vet, and you'd make you feel safe and warm, maybe a little dangerous. But I wanted to get your feeling on that. Can Shedeur win this job legitimately in the eyes of the veterans?
I think so, if you know that he's the future because you've seen glimpses of it. You've seen flashes that you think by week 8 he'll be better than Joe Flacco. And so you'll be willing to go through some growing pains. Now, if they just try to jam him and Dylan Gabriel or even Kenny Pickett out there and Joe Flacco clearly looks more competent on a consistent basis, then that's going to be a problem. But I've always said, like, players just want to know what the plan is, communicate it to us, and that we can see, a vision and a path for what's going on. And like, hey, Shedeur, he's going to make a mistake, or Dylan Gabriel, or even Kenny, who the heck ever it is. He may throw the ball to him one time a game that he probably shouldn't, but he's also going to make about 4 or 5 plays that maybe the other guys can't. And so if you feel like that's there, then you'll deal with that downside. It's like Peyton Manning. He led the league in interceptions his rookie year. I guarantee you they had someone on the roster that probably would have been better to manage it, but you also saw him make some great plays. So you're thinking, okay, we still have a shot. Like, he's going to win us some, and then by the end of the year, he'll be a heck of a lot better than he is at the beginning. And a part of it comes with the responsibility on those guys to be whoever that is who gets that job, if it does happen, to be a pro. And you got to show up. You can't be some entitled guy, and that's not a knock on Shedeur. It's anybody getting drafted like that, where you're coming in and like, I'm just going to be the man. No, you're going to come in and you're going to work like the man, because that's what all the great ones have always done. And speaking of great ones, Rothman, I wanted, before we get out of here with clock integrity, I want to give a tip of the cap to your guy, the first of the Purple People Eaters to pass away at 87 yesterday. And there was an unbelievable clip that I saw, like just a picture of him standing there in the black and white in the snow with like a 3/4 cut-off shirt on, looking like an old-time baseball player, a couple forearm pads, just looking mean and rough, and thinking, how is this guy not in the Hall of Fame? He is 20th, I think, or 22nd in sacks in an era where they didn't even throw the ball. He's got this start streak for consecutive games by anybody who played a real position where they hit someone on every play, and he's remarkable. And so Buckeye, a legend.
East High School.
Jim Marshall, the best.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that. I started the show with it. Jim Marshall played after he accidentally shot himself with a shotgun cleaning it. He played after pneumonia. He walked out of the hospital, played that week. And he also went on a snowmobile journey from Montana to Wyoming with 16 dudes, and one didn't make it. The snowmobiles broke down. I mean,
you know what it is?
They didn't know. It's not alive. It's not that. They didn't.
It's like The Edge with Hopkins and Baldwin.
Great movie, Matty.
Kill the bear.
That's right.
I bet Jim Marshall, also unlisted, probably has one confirmed black bear killing for food.
And then the other thing, and you asked the right question, is why isn't he not? I'm almost feeling that he was top 5 most embarrassing play in the history of sports. And I think that may have, in a weird way, always stayed with him. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. Jim Marshall.
The wrong way. He's got the longest negative fumble recovery in the history of the NFL.
That's right.
The wrong way.
So it's about 60 some odd yards. So they're playing San Francisco, and he's a defensive lineman. The play gets by them. He's coming back to the play. Ball gets dislodged. He picks it up in stride and starts running the wrong way. And the team is trying to tell him to stop. He gets into the end zone and flings the ball like he scored. He said later he thought, I realized it at the end, but it was too late. He obviously was a safety. Here's the beautiful thing. They won the game. He was involved in a fumble recovery after that. They beat San Fran twice that year, so at least they didn't lose the game where he scored a touchdown for the wrong team. But wrong way Jim Marshall is something I think followed him, unfortunately, his entire career, and maybe it was just the gaffe of all gaffes that, I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of, because you're right. He should be there, and he's not, which is a shame.
The wrong way. I mean, it's a gaffe, like you said, and it's a blooper, and it's on there. But you go look at all the other great things that he's done. I feel like now enough time, even the last 20 years, enough time had passed. Like, Matty never heard of that. Like, you look at this guy's stats and everything he's done, and you're like, how the hell is this guy not in the Hall of Fame? Like, part of the Purple People Eaters. I know we got to go, and it's just crazy to see that and to realize. And by the way, your boy Bud Grant, you know how he found him? This guy had to leave. This is the original like tough ass story, man. Okay. Jim Marshall, Matty, had to leave. He's from, I think he went to Cleveland East or Columbus.
No, Columbus East, yeah.
Columbus East. He had to leave school a year early, go tell Woody Hayes because they didn't have enough money. So he went and played in Canada because you couldn't play in the NFL yet. That's where Bud Grant was playing against him when he was at Saskatchewan. Plays with the Browns for a year. What the Browns let him go for, who the heck knows? And then next thing you know, he's playing 20 years for the Vikings and is one of the greatest defensive linemen of all time.
Mm. Yeah, and he had like encephalitis during military training even before that 61 season. The guy was just, he's unreal.
He's a tough man.
Yep,
As
that's
they
right.
said in Rocky, hard words from a
hard man. Alan Page, Gary Larson, Carl Eller, and the man.
He's the first to go. The other three are still alive, which is amazing.
Yeah, we had Carl actually on one of the Gold Jacket Thursdays. It was a big deal for me. And but you're right. He's one of not many guys played in all the 4 of those Super Bowls that they lost. He was one of them. All right, my man.
He was one of 11, Rothman.
You're
You gotta
right.
do the research.
Well, he was one of 11. I think you are. Yeah, that's right.
I read it all this morning. I don't need it read off.
I don't need it read back. All right. Thanks, Colonel. Appreciate you.
Have a good one.
Talk to you soon. Bobby Carpenter, Morning Juice. Every morning, 6 to 8, swimming upstream. We come back, Buckeye Bulletin. And Maddie, a future opponent on the schedule. Interesting one. We'll tell you next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
Home means something different to everyone. But with Rocket Mortgage, home can mean even more. It can mean a college education, taming your high-interest debt, even a renovation. We've made it easier than ever to use your home equity. That home you worked so hard for, now it can work hard for you. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from
We can be twinsies.
To
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
When sudden illness or injury strike, Ohio State offers 3 types of urgent care to meet any of your needs. From traditional urgent care to our specialized orthopedic urgent care for activity-related injuries and advanced urgent care for more serious injury and illness. Ohio State's experts treat everything from broken bones to ear infections and colds and flu. When your illness or injury can't wait, the choice is clear.
Stay hydrated. It's hot out there. So my teenage son just went out in sweatpants and a hoodie. It's 98 degrees. At least I know he'll be cool in our house, thanks to Atlas Butler. If something goes wrong, they'll fix it within 24 hours. They call it their comfort pledge. Get too hot?
My phone.
Oh, your phone. Should have known.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Spring showers revealing roofing or siding issues? Trust the pros at Newman Roofing for expert care, white glove service, and quality you can count on. Schedule your estimate today and take advantage of special financing options. Call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit newmanroofing.com today.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring into savings at Ohio Mulch. Get your mulch as easy as ever. Save $50 on home delivery now through Sunday. All you got to do is visit ohiomulch.com today.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply.
Most radio stations suck. Here's why. They don't invest in local programming. We're live and local 14 hours a day. You can rest assured that every stupid thing we say is 100% local. Homegrown dumb since day one. The Fan.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text DIG to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful Fed incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text DIG to 42424. That's DIG to 42424.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Patriot Air Comfort Systems and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another air conditioner breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day air installation.
All right, Buckeye Bulletin time. And listen, they've played Navy before, the Naval Academy.
Played them in Baltimore, home of the Ravens, I think.
And they played
the
them
bank
here in 2009.
I think so.
It was the week before the USC game that they lost. And the funny thing about that is, Maddie, I remember that Navy game being like what I thought was going to be a massive wake-up call for Ohio State.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back. Was that game before Navy, before the USC game?
You're saying 09 AR?
Yeah, I think so.
Let me check this out for you.
And they escaped Navy.
So, hey, sometimes you get in those games against Navy and it's a funky playing style, some of that option stuff that they can throw at you.
Ricky Dobbs was a player.
Yeah, Brian Roll with a 2-point run back.
Yeah, that's right. What was the final?
31-27.
Yeah.
Then they came home the week after that and lost 18-15 to USC.
So think about the 4-point swing there, because Navy is going for 2 to tie it. And so when you get the pick 2, I guess would be what it would be called, that's a 31-27. But if Navy gets that 2-point conversion, there's 2 minutes left in the game, and it's 29-29.
Yeah, Ricky Dobbs.
Wait. So it was 29-21.
Correct.
And Navy
scores a touchdown, so it's 29-27. 2 minutes to go in the game. Navy's going for 2 to tie it.
I don't remember it that way. I remember it.
How do you remember it? Take us down. Hop in the hot tub time machine.
I remember it that they went for 2 when it was 29-21. Why would they have done that, though?
Because they're down by 8 points.
To be down by 6? Why wouldn't you just...
Wait, hold on. You're down 29-21. That's 8 points.
That's right.
So you score a touchdown if you're Navy. That's 29-27.
No, I don't. See, I don't remember it being that way.
Oh.
I remember them scoring the touchdown to make it 29-21.
And then they scored again.
And that's when I think... No, I'll have to go back. I just don't. It's too long ago.
I'm reading off
All right, well, if you have it,
it looks like right here on 3rd and 9 when Ohio State was up 29-21, TP threw an interception.
Okay.
On 3rd and 9. After that, Navy went on what looks like a 3-play, 33-yard drive to score a touchdown
to be down
make it
4.
31-27, correct.
Wait a minute.
That's what I've got here on the old game log.
That can't be right. I think TLC's right. Why would, if Navy scored, Buckeyes, you said were on 29. So they would have been stuck on 29. When did they got the 2-point conversion right then when they intercepted the ball? So you're saying that, okay, I know what you're saying. You're saying Navy scored to make it 29-27.
Yep.
Going for the tie. And that's when Roll got it, took it back to make it 31-27.
There you go.
There you go.
Ricky Dobbs was on one that game, AR.
He was good.
Had himself a heck of a day.
He was a good ball player.
9 of 13 through the air for 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, and then he was 18 of 83 on the ground for another 2 touchdowns in the game.
Well, they've added this game to 2029 and 2030.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Navy and Youngstown State on the 2029 schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And then to make room for them, they booted Nevada to 2030.
Okay.
So that's always, listen, that's a big deal. I just can't believe they played them that close that year. And I thought, well, that's all they needed. And USC, that was a tough game. And I think Ohio State was a dog that game at home. Maddie?
Really?
6.5, maybe?
Really?
Yeah, I remember because I bet with a guy. I bet with a guy that day the USC versus Ohio State game, and I think I was getting 6.5. So I won the bet, and I never got paid. That's why I remember it so much. Yeah, Ohio State lost 18-15, and I think I was getting Ohio State in 6.5, unless he just offered me 6.5 because he was so confident.
That was it.
But I would love to find the spread on that game because that was the Barkley game.
The first
That was
Google
Matt
search
Barkley.
I have has USC by 7.
Okay, there you go. So it was right, and I took him with 6.5, which was bold of me to do, and that was Pryor versus Matt Barkley, and hell of a game.
True freshman, Matt
game-winning drive, right?
Yeah, at the end of the game. Yep.
Yeah. What a day that was here, though. It was the most beautiful day.
And you know what that was, Rothman?
Yeah.
A night game.
It was, because we had all day to go to High Street and just soak it all in. It was like a full day's event, and the weather was great.
Shout out to our guy, Depot. Devere Posey, 6 for 81 in the game. See you putting on a show, Depot.
Yeah.
Only had 14 yards against Navy. Don't know what that was about.
Yeah, that's why I thought, okay, that's exactly what they needed. Navy gave them a game, and now they'll be fired up. But listen, USC was they're both top 10 teams. It wasn't supposed to be a blowout either way. But I remember taking Ohio State in 6.5 and never getting paid.
The year before was a blowout against USC on the road.
Oh.
Did you travel?
Beanie didn't play.
Did you travel to cover?
I think he did.
Beanie was injured.
I don't think he did.
It was Beckman and Beanie?
In 08?
In 08, I don't think Beanie did.
No.
They lost like 35-3.
What year are we talking
2008.
now?
2008. Off the top of my head, without looking it up, it was either 35-3 or 38-3.
It was 35-3.
Okay.
It was Beckman.
There was the pick 6 by Malaluga.
Mark Sanchez. Joe McKnight was still there.
Yeah.
Yep. No Beanie. I think he had turf toe.
Did you travel to cover that game?
I never got to travel.
Oh.
The one game that I'll tell you the story sometime. It's a great story. In 2002, I finally traveled. And I went up to the GM at Channel 6. And I said...
You want me on that wall? You need me on that wall?
He said, you got to know your role. You're in the studio. We'll send Clay. We'll get a news anchor out there. And I said, Manny said these words, 4 words. What if they win? And he said, excuse me? I said, well, what if they win? How are you going to cover it with one guy?
Mm-hmm. What was his answer?
We went. I went.
There you go. There's some weight around.
No, I hit him where it hurts.
Of course.
How are you going to do it with one guy?
That's also what he said to Fish about the Memorial Tournament. That's how he got all those badges on him.
That's right.
By the way,
who's going to do it? You, Lieutenant Weinberg?
Just got an alert on my phone. It says AR pill popping time.
Got him, buddy. Thank you. And Zoran. He reminded me, too.
There you go.
All right, Sports Center update here, top of the hour. We'll try to make it through hour 3. Should the Buckeye fans specifically want this specific thing to happen this year? Tell you next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Bo Bishop is a media legend. We have no idea where the other guys came from. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
Bob Yoakum, president of Rockford Homes, explains why he banks with First Bank of Central Ohio.
Anytime you're dealing with a local bank, it's about being able to pick up the phone and talk to real people. That is a huge pro. When you get into these bigger banks, that doesn't happen.
Experience what it's like to be first at First Bank of Central Ohio. Visit fbcentralohio.com for more details. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
This is Corey Sickles with Safe Harbor Retirement Group. When you leave a job, don't leave your 401k. Grow your investment without the fees associated with 401k plans. Visit safeharboroh.com to schedule a complimentary meeting. safeharboroh.com.
This summer, elevate your backyard barbecue game with Napoleon Grills from Billiards Plus in Dublin. Experience the power of Napoleon's infrared sizzle zone, reaching up to 1,800 degrees in just 30 seconds for that perfect steakhouse sear. Stay connected with the Napoleon Home app. Monitor up to 3 temperature probes, all from your smartphone. Built to last with premium steel, the grilling season never ends with Napoleon Grills from Billiards Plus. Visit Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin and transform your patio into a gourmet grilling paradise.
Hi, I'm Mandy. I'm one of the at-home coaches with the Wake Up 180 Weight Loss. Honestly, I think the thing I hear the most is I didn't realize how easy it was. At first weekly, they come in, they're like, oh my gosh, I already noticed that I'm not as bloated in my face or in my abdomen, or I've been sleeping better. I've been waking up with so much more energy. I don't need my coffee throughout the day. They're coming in a month or two later and they're like, hey, like my daughter said I need to lower my meds. I'm losing a ton of inches on my waist. I'm buying new pant sizes. And we're looking at the scale. And we're like, yeah, your visceral fat's down again. That's fantastic. And we're celebrating all of these wins. And then we talk about, okay, next step. Let's talk about how to maintain it. This isn't over. This is just the next stage. That's what your health coach is there for.
Thanks, Mandy. This is Scotty Vegas. Easy weight loss with results that actually last. With Awaken 180 Weight Loss, you will succeed and you'll enjoy the process. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Now's the time to get a great deal on Kubota construction equipment, featuring durable Kubota engines, more comfort, more productivity, more get it done right. The Kubota construction lineup shows up ready to work every day. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for 60 months, or save up to $4,500. Now through June 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Stop by Columbus Equipment in Columbus, Dayton, or Toledo to see their full line of Kubota construction equipment, or check them out online at ColumbusEquipment.com.
At QC Kinetics, we're all about keeping you in the game, helping you get lasting relief from joint pain. That's why we're excited to announce that QC Kinetics is now partnering with the National Pickleball League. So many of our satisfied patients are avid pickleball players, and they're thrilled with how we've helped them get back on the court. As lead sponsor of the National Pickleball League, we're committed to help pickleball fans of all ages with the latest, most advanced regenerative cell treatments. These treatments use your body's own healing power, revitalizing and restoring damaged joint tissue the natural way, with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Whether you're a pickleball fanatic or enjoy golf or running or tennis, stay in the game with help from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics, proud to promote active, pain-free living as a lead sponsor of the National Pickleball League. Call now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ. That's JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York. Every great team has its core players, but when the season gets tough, adding the right free agent can make all the difference. The same goes for business. At Robert Half, we found that 67% of companies surveyed plan to increase their use of contract talent to handle workload peaks and backlogged projects. With Robert Half's specialized recruiters' experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Dylan Gonzalez. The Stanley Cup Finals are finally here, and it's a rematch of last year's final as the Edmonton Oilers take on the defending champion Florida Panthers. Here's Oilers star Connor McDavid on the championship rematch.
We know what to expect from their game. I think they know what to expect from ours. You know, they're an aggressive, in-your-face, quick team. You know, they're the champs. It's their third final in 3 years. They're a great team. You know, you can't say enough good things. So, as I said, they have our complete focus. Going to be a great challenge, and we're excited about it.
The Cleveland Guardians lost a tough one in New York last night as they fell to the Yankees by a final score of 3-2. Those two teams will play again tonight in what will be Game 3 of a 4-game set. We also have baseball in progress right now as the Reds trail the Brewers down in Cincinnati by a score of 3-0. This Sports Center is sponsored by RCD RV Super Center. Visit them in Heath, Delaware, and Pataskala or at rcdrv.com.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and Ice feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Low T Center. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, final hour of the program. You guys got anybody, any of your friends, anybody you knew in the past that still owe you money? And it's just kind of gone. It's in the wind, and whether the friendship's gone or whether it's still intact or you're hanging on to something or it's.
I got to be honest,
a very awkward situation.
The homies, we're really good about getting back. The bread to each other.
Yeah.
Like nobody has an issue loaning. You need some money here or there, whatever. Fine, but everybody in time will pay you back.
Time, yeah.
Yeah. So I love that about our inner circle.
There's a place in Chicago that my dad used to love to go, a little hole-in-the-wall hamburger joint. Used to go in there and get like a fried hamburger, not even grilled, like back in the day, like a kind of a, and they weren't even open forever. It was like gone fishing, they would do that in the summer. But you go in there for a shrimp cocktail and a fried hamburger and a crinkle cut fries, and that was it. And that was the menu. And there was a sign that was hanging over the bar. I remember this like it was yesterday. I was probably 14 years old. And it said, "A borrower nor a lender be, for loan oft loses both friend and itself." And I've committed that to memory over the years because it's absolutely true. And I've told you, like, the Bank of AR had been open for a while, and these are friends of mine and best man at a wedding or this or that.
Yeah.
But you want to know going in, is this a gift or is this a loan?
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard because you're awkward. They need it. You want to do the right thing. But it's funny because I got a couple tweets on, do you still talk to that guy that owes you that money from the USC Ohio State game back in 2009? And I don't. And it's funny because I either it was on me to just let it go. But I would have let it go. I would have let it go if he would have said, you know what, I made a mistake, or I'll tell you what, I'll buy you lunch, let's call it even, or I don't have it right now, can I pay you back in 3 months? And absolutely. It's really more about the principle because what happens is you start lowering your self-respect. Like, was that going to change my life? Of course not. And it's weird, and I feel bad about it because it lost a friendship. And a buddy of mine used to say this to me, and he goes, and he probably put it a little too harsh, but I like this analogy. He goes, he robbed you. I go, no, he didn't really rob me.
Ski mask.
He goes, no, he robbed you. He just didn't use a gun. He used the friendship as the weapon. And then when he said that, I started thinking, you know what? Mm-hmm. That's probably a better weapon.
Right. He's right. I'll tell you what.
Better.
Me personally, I hate borrowing stuff from people. Like, I feel like the guilt of just wanting to get it back as soon as possible. Yeah. I've never liked asking anybody for help, for money, or anything. That's probably not a great quality that I have. But whenever people loan me things, there's just kind of like this dark cloud of guilt that hovers over me for a long time. So I try to get that done as soon as possible. The people that don't feel that way, I'm worried about how you're wired. That you can let things drag out for a long time.
I used to be that guy.
You owe somebody something.
Now, I would always pay people back. But, like, if I owed you money, I wasn't getting it back to you tomorrow.
You're kicking the can down the road as long as you can.
Because I hated having to just fork over that money, take it out of my wallet to give it to somebody else. I needed time to emotionally prepare.
See, that's why.
I needed to get my mind right for that, okay? Now, I was always going to pay people, and I have zero debt to anybody. That's true. All I'm saying is if I owed you money, it may have taken me a few days because I had to just deal with the fact I'm like, man, I have to walk up to this person. There are probably going to be people around seeing it like, oh, what does he owe him money for? And then I had to emotionally prepare for that.
You know what I've figured out in life? That when you have that outlook of how you're feeling that other people are looking at you, more times than not, they're really not.
I know.
They're really not worried about you.
It's arrogant to think that everyone else is like concerned about whatever I'm doing.
I don't know if it's arrogance because I think a lot of people are wired that way, right? Whether it's, embarrassment or whatever it may be. But when you're thinking that way, I don't think there's a whole bunch of people that would look at you and give your friend money and think, man, he owes that guy a whole bunch of money. I would never think that looking at you.
I'll tell you what. Here's the one thing I think I know. Nobody forgets. I don't care how little it is or what it is. The person that borrowed it. Yep.
Yeah.
The person that borrowed it.
When it comes to money,
the person that borrowed it remembers it. And the person that lent it remembers it. They may not talk about it.
But they know.
It may never be uttered again, but they know.
Yeah.
And the person that borrowed it is thinking, have I gotten away with it? Have they forgotten? And I'm here to tell you, they don't forget because it's more about the principle. What really gets me, it's never been about the money. It's about when you try to get it back and then that person acts like they're doing you a favor and you're suddenly the bad guy. Like, really? Yeah, you got to get it back right away, huh?
Really?
Like, that's the bad part. So you got to go into it knowing that when you give it, you're probably giving it as a gift. And if you get it back, great. And if you don't, Maddie, only because if you don't want to lose the friendship, you make it, you just say, hey, if you get it back.
But then you're a doormat.
Yeah, then you got to check your friends.
I'm not saying you got to lend to everybody.
If you're losing the friendship, then that's such a one-way friendship already because you're already giving them the upper hand.
I'm not saying
it's like calling somebody coach. You can't give them the upper hand.
Yeah, you're big on that, man.
You can't give them the upper hand.
You're big on that.
We're on a level playing field
When
here.
you're dating, is that when you go into deep conversations about? When you guys are having that, I have to have the upper hand. I have to win the argument.
No,
you're that guy, aren't you?
I'm saying we're on a level playing field.
How about this?
And I believe that in a relationship, too.
How about this?
We're all equals here. I'm not better than you.
I'm going to reduce it to something that I think may get him. I'm not sure. I just thought about this.
Me?
Because, yes, you.
All right.
So let's say you started dating someone and she's introducing you to her parents. And she said, this is my mom and dad.
Oh, I can't
and
wait.
you know her last name. And she doesn't introduce them as this is Ron and Linda. She introduces them, these are my parents. And you say, nice to meet you, Mr., or do you call him by his first name? And I guarantee you're not doing it.
It's Mr. and Mrs.
There you go.
But here's why.
We finally I knew I'd get him.
Hold on. I think that this is still consistent with what I'm saying, though. Because my whole point is that
they have no authority over you yet.
I don't know about that.
At the time,
your girlfriend's parents, don't they have some?
No. What AR is saying is at that time, they don't have authority
over
over
in-laws.
you. No, they're not.
You're doing it out of respect.
I would actually argue that when they're your in-laws, that's the opposite because now you're in, and now
that's true too.
Now you're casual enough, and you've known them.
That's
long
right.
enough.
He may actually say, "Call me by my first name."
Yeah. Adam King and somebody, listener, whoever's out there in their car, remind us to talk about this with Adam tomorrow. I think Adam was talking about this last week. I think he's known his girlfriend for a long time. And I think he was literally just talking about how he's known their parents, and he's like, at what point do I start calling them by their first names? Because at whatever point that is, that's going to be weird.
I will say this about me. To this day, AR, my 34 years walking on planet Earth, I have never called my parents by their first name. And I never will.
Your own parents?
You just say mom and dad.
My own parents, yes. Pops, mom. I will never call them by their first names just outright. That's always been, for me, a big no-no. Out of respect for my parents. It's always been odd to me, or was odd to me, when kids would call their parents by their first names. That's just, it's a little strange for me.
Aside from To Kill a Mockingbird, where have you seen that?
Oh, I've seen it growing up, for sure.
That's amazing what you just pulled out of there. Atticus Finch.
Thank you.
I agree with you that it's always weird that when someone asks you, hey, what's your mom or dad's name? And you have to say it. It sounds weird.
Yeah, saying their name. But I'm not identifying like, hey,
that's right.
You know.
But I think I finally got him because I don't think he was
never
prepared to call anybody Mr. or anybody Sir or anybody Coach or anybody whatever. It was your first name, is your doctor. He wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
Although he said maybe if it was his doctor, he might. Maybe.
Yeah, I do think your girlfriend's parents, and I guess it does kind of depend how old you are, because let's say you're like in your 40s or 50s and you're divorced and now you're dating again, and maybe you meet I also think there's like a senior citizen exception, where if somebody's in like their 80s or something, there's like just this elderly clause or something that we're putting into this contract.
I think it's actually should be nice reverse. So you get to that point, you call them by their first name. It's kind of a nice thing. How's it going, Frank? What do you say, Bill? Like, I feel like that should be like, you want to go out the same way you came in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right.
What we know about TLC is he does not handle authority well.
That's because Ryan Day has no authority over me. Thank you very much.
I'm not talking about Coach Day. I'm talking about in life. You don't deal with authority and people telling you what to do well. You don't like that.
I'm 50-50. I may be rattled between the ears, but I'll listen.
Somebody just tweeted for you. He's out of line, but he's right. I don't know about that.
Hey, good enough for me.
When we come back, pre-snap reads. I'll pay off on the should Buckeye fans absolutely not actually want this to happen. Tell you next, Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Wake up with the Fan. Eat lunch with the Fan. Go to bed with the Fan. Dream about the Fan. Then change your sheets. Gross.
Ew, you guys are gross, but stick around in case I don't find anyone else.
The Fan.
Common Man here. I want to talk to you about my buddy Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. It's rare that a business comes along and offers you such great quality, service, price. If you or someone you love or like, or even strangers on the street tell you they need a jeweler, tell them you got a guy, and that guy is Bob Capace at Worthington Jewelers.
I'm Bob Capace, and I'm your guy.
Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington, worthingtonjewelers.com, where Columbus gets engaged.
Home means something different to everyone. But with Rocket Mortgage, home can mean even more. It can mean a college education, taming your high-interest debt, even a renovation. We've made it easier than ever to use your home equity. That home you worked so hard for, now it can work hard for you. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring is here, and it's time to refresh your yard with Ohio Mulch. With 15 convenient locations in Central Ohio, it's easier than ever to get your mulch ready for the season. Need it delivered? No problem. Save $50 on home delivery when you order online. Whether it's mulch, soil, or even stone, we've got your yard covered. Visit OhioMulch.com today and spruce up your garden with the best.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply, greener, greener, better.
He shoots, he scores!
No matter your sport, it's a great time of year to be a fan. But the fun stops when you or a loved one can't control your gambling. At Maryhaven, we're here to help. Whether it's gambling, drugs, alcohol, or mental health, you don't have to go it alone. With in-person, virtual, and group options, Maryhaven meets you where you are. Always judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today. That's maryhaven.com.
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
Can't get enough of your favorite fan content? Good news, we're on all the digitals. Follow 971 The Fan on X, Facebook, YouTube, The Talk, and Gram. Your digital home for endless shenanigans. The Fan.
Got a teen athlete? Then you know putting in the hours is all part of the game. But did you know the same goes for learning how to drive? Because just like playing a sport, learning to drive takes practice. The only difference is the stakes are even higher. 50 hours of practice time driving with you? Worth every minute. Gear up at teachyourteentodrive.ohio.gov.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Stay hydrated and lots of sunscreen today. We'll see daytime highs soaring into the upper 80s to right around 90 degrees, and it will be humid and hazy. For tonight, mostly cloudy, overnight lows in the upper 60s, and then for Thursday, temperatures drop down into the low 80s, but we see chances of showers and thunderstorms returning. Isolated storms could be severe with damaging wind gusts, otherwise mostly cloudy skies, and we'll see the chances of rain continue into the weekend. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Pre-Snap Reads.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF. Or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, I've corrupted the young lad over here. Bet365 time. I've walked him down the dark alley of first goal.
Oh, yeah, you're going to have to help me out with this. But real quick, I want to let you know that at Bet365, folks, we don't do ordinary. Bet365 is the official sports betting partner of the Cleveland Guardians. Close one in the Boogie Down Bronx yesterday for the Guards. Yankees come out on top. Good call out of you on the Bobby K's.
Well, we did get that,
He got to that number yesterday.
Win, I thought he'd be the reason I did it, and it was the underdog. I got plus money on it, and he just beat it by one. He got
had
6.
6, I believe.
Okay,
Let me double check that.
I think was 5.5.
Pretty sure he got.
And the reason I think I told you at the end was I just thought he'd be so pumped against the Yanks.
Yeah.
It was just a thing. He was going to bring out the best or the worst. And the other thing about him is that you had mentioned to me that he was trending in a pretty good direction as far as Ks, and the Yanks do K a decent amount. So all right, I'm glad I got
the
that
6 Ks yesterday.
What was yours?
I'd bet on another Ohtani home run, which I don't believe he did yesterday. But you mentioned Stanley Cup Final starting tonight. Let's hunt down a first-time goal scorer in this joint. Give me Connor McDavid, 10-1, first goal of the game, lighten up the lamp. Now, listen, I don't like that I'm going up against Goalie Bob. We know how good Goalie Bob can be. When he's on, he's one of the best. We all know it. But Connor McDavid is one of those guys as well. He's a one-of-one type of talent. So I'm going 10-1. First guy to light up the lamp in the Stanley Cup Final. Give me Connor McDavid.
So no one's going to argue with that value. You're getting him. I'll say it, though, that he hasn't scored the opening goal in the playoffs yet.
Okay. He's
due. We could play the he's due game. Where's Leon Draisaitl if you want to play Edmonton?
I have him at plus 750 AR for the first goal of the game. You can get him at plus 110.
And Ryan Nugent-Hopkins?
Anytime. Nugent-Hopkins, I've got at 16-1.
All right, I'll take him.
All right, 16-1. You'll go Nugent-Hopkins. I'll go Connor McDavid.
The other thing I'm going to do is probably take Florida as a fun bet just to win in 6 at plus 450.
Okay. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. They've got a great new sign-up offer for you right now where you can bet $5 and you will get $150 in bonus bets, whether your bet wins or loses. So check out their amazing website or download the Bet365 app. Today, 21 plus only, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Offer subject to meeting qualifying criteria.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
One thing you should look for is Edmonton giving Baba Orlovsky a little more of a workload this series.
Okay.
I do think they can generate more shots than he's used to seeing. And that could be something to look for. I mean, he's a stud. There's no question about it. But, when you 22, 23 shots over the last 5, and here comes Edmonton, there may be a little bit of a
more volume.
Yes,
he
should see a lot more volume.
Yeah.
This will be tougher. All right.
By the way, are we going to jump on this Rockies bandwagon that's starting to take place?
We kind of.
You brought this up yesterday, AR. They got another dub, right?
Yeah.
It's 2 in a row. It's officially a win streak.
Careful, they're heading to the 9th inning right now, and they have a 3-2 lead. They're going for a sweep.
They are bringing the brooms out.
Well,
because we talked about after that first win that they had in Miami, do we fade them the rest of the way? But now, they're a wagon.
This would be the time.
They're a wagon.
And Vegas will know this to jump off, though, when they welcome in the Mets. I don't think that'll be.
Oh, my gosh, no.
So, no, the odds won't be there. But I'd like to see him win this. That'd be very cool. It's very unlikely to go on the road and sweep Miami. Miami's no good, but.
Especially avoiding that 305 curse. Spent a few days in Miami.
I think
it's easy to get distracted.
Maddie, I think they saw the Instagram post that Scheffler has as many wins as they do in the last month. I think that thing was all over the place. All right, I want to ask you guys this, and you have this bite from Paul Feinbaum, right?
Via Get Up.
I'll ask you guys the question real fast, and then we can hear from Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think Ohio State should want Texas to be number 1?
Oh,
just to have that, put more pressure on Arch. And it doesn't matter whether you're 2, 3, 4. I get it. Because it doesn't matter. But it would be nice if they got number 1 preseason.
A little bit of a mental hedge for Ohio State over there?
I'd like to see the 1 in front of the opponent.
No, I think you want to be 1.
Oh, you'd rather be one.
Yeah, as the reigning champ.
Oh, Ryan
want to
Day,
be number one.
Ryan Day wants to do the Kirby Smart, no one believes in us
listen,
routine.
Listen, when you're the reigning champ, you want to come in with your chest hairs out.
You think if open face roast beef, if you asked Ryan Day right now and you said, Coach,
emphasis on coach.
No one's listening. Private time, quiet time, Tress. Would you prefer to be number one and give your team that kind of juice to protect it? You're the defending champs.
Yeah.
Kind of cool. They're coming into your house. You're number one. To be the best, you got to beat the best. Or would you rather, with a brand new quarterback, let them have all the number one stuff? Let them have it. Let Ohio State be maybe even a pick-em or a semi-dog at home.
My gut is telling me that he would side with you two on this. But I want all the smoke. If I'm Caleb Downs, we want to come into this joint. We got the crown on our head. You see these rings we got? You coming into our house. We're number one. We want that type of pressure. I would embrace all of that. But I think he would be with you guys.
Ryan Day would rather start the season unranked than number one.
We'll see that. It's a bridge too far.
Well, they have Matty. They're not living off last year, if you believe them. Like, they've ripped stuff down. I think
it's good for them.
They're trying to make this team have its own identity and reach for their own.
I don't think, AR, when we get the initial AP poll, I don't think they're going to be number one. Ohio State.
No, I think.
Do you think it's going to be Penn State?
I mentioned that.
See, that's an interesting scenario he just threw out. Will Penn State be ranked higher than Ohio State in the initial AP poll? I don't think we should be shocked if that answer is yes.
Think about that while we're listening to Paul.
Is Texas, in your mind, the favorite to win the national championship this coming year?
Absolutely, Greeny. They have Arch Manning, in case you have not gotten that email from the front office. And he is expected to be better than Quinn Ewers. I was not that impressed with Ewers last year. I think Arch Manning, had he come in the Cotton Bowl, may have had a better shot and maybe even beaten Ohio State. But he is going to be the leader of this team. They reloaded in the portal, Greeny, to the tune of many millions and millions of dollars. And I think Texas, other than having to go to Ohio State week one, is in great shape.
Well, his vote would be number one. I think he's right. You asked the question, will Texas be higher ranked than Ohio State? I think they will be.
What about Penn State?
Preseason. That's the better question.
It's a really good question by TLC.
Thank you. I'll say yes.
That Penn State will be ranked higher. I think so, too, than Ohio State.
There'll be no shame in being fourth or fifth.
They'll be in the top five, Ohio State, but I think there's a lot of love out there right now.
Will
for Penn
Georgia
State
be ranked higher than Ohio State?
No. I don't think so.
Close. Probably not.
Yeah.
But
I think they'll be there.
Yeah.
I think Clemson will be ranked higher than Georgia.
God, dude, people are way obsessed with Cade Klubnik.
I know.
Their offense is stacked, dude.
Yeah, they got.
I mean, we'll see, but
so is their D line.
Yes, exactly.
Peter Woods and TJ Parker are both going first round next year.
I think Clemson will be top 5.
Mm-hmm. I do too.
In the first AP poll.
Yep, I agree with you. I could see this going Texas, Penn State, Clemson, Ohio State, Georgia.
Some type of that combination.
Or LSU.
I'm with you.
Like, do you think that an AP voter in Seattle right now knows who Julian Sayin is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they know who they are or who he is, but
they don't know what he is as a player.
How could you know? Right.
They'll buy into the buzz and people like Saban and all these people that have seen him, what they'll talk about there. And what he was as a recruit.
We named all the teams we named have a quarterback that is technically coming back.
Outside of Ohio State.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I shouldn't count Arch, but he played a little. But he's not a starter.
Yeah.
But you have Klubnik, you have Aller, you have Stockton, you have.
I don't know about him.
No, I know, but we've seen him, right? And that's it. And then Nussmeier, obviously, for LSU. Now, who's quarterback in your squad?
CJ Carr, Lloyd Carr's grandson.
That's right.
And because of Marcus Freeman and because of C.J. Carr, a couple of years ago, we had Jim Tressel and Lloyd Carr both in South Bend for the spring game in Notre Dame gear. Hell yeah, taking over the Midwest, baby. C.J. Carr, for whatever this is worth, and maybe this is worth nothing, C.J. Carr legitimately looked awesome in the spring game.
He's a freshman?
Red shirt, yeah.
Okay. And he's Lloyd's grandkid.
Okay. So he's from Ann Arbor and committed to Notre Dame.
It's interesting. You got two programs in Notre Dame last couple of years in Oregon that have gone the veteran quarterback route via the portal, and now they're going to hand the keys over to a couple guys that have been in the system and have seen veteran guys go about their business. So Dante Moore for Oregon And you got Carr out there for Notre Dame, and I can't wait to see what it looks like in both Freeman and Lanning getting off that transfer portal right now talent type of energy that they've gotten from Bo Nix, Dylan Gabriel, and
his transfer quarterbacks were a lot better than ours.
That's real.
Jack Cohn,
Sam Hartman.
Sam Hartman was a good college guy.
Yeah.
Riley Leonard, a good college guy.
Yeah.
He actually had potential.
Hartman played pretty damn well against Ohio State that night. He did. He did everything he could for you to win that game.
Yeah.
And your defense
had 11
failed
guys
him.
on the field.
Yeah. Well, and they gave up and McCord hit the beautiful fourth down crossing pass. Yeah, that was big time.
We dropped an interception right across the middle.
But you got the one that counted against Penn State.
Yeah.
Last year.
That's right.
Pretty big. All right, we come back in 2 minutes. Maddie, I've got the ultimate motivation for an NFL star, and it just dropped. I'll tell you what it is in 2 minutes. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Talking about guns might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Asking safety questions before a play date, like, do you have pets, a pool, are there any unlocked guns in the home, can help keep kids safe. Learn more at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by Ohio Health and the Ad Council.
Sometimes I hear a sparkling sound.
Like when we say, all you have to do is point?
There it is.
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Now at Menards, get everything you need for your garden project. Schultz Plant Food is specially formulated to provide brighter, fuller, and healthier blooming for your flowers. It's easy to use, requires no mixing, and contains micronutrients that encourage rapid blooming while providing rich color and strong root development. Visit our garden center today. And don't forget to check out our flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Hi, this is Bob Masheter from Dick Masheter Ford. Thank you to all of Central Ohio as we head towards 60 years of doing business in the Buckeye State. Dad opened up in 1967 simply trying to offer a better way to buy a car, and we've been working ever since to serve our neighbors. We have served you through wars, recessions, and even a Chinese virus. Here is to serving you and your kids and your grandkids for the next 60 years, except on Sundays when we're closed, because it's the right thing to do. Still 24/7 at MasheterFord.net. Thanks.
This summer, elevate your backyard barbecue game with Napoleon Grills from Billiards Plus in Dublin. Experience the power of Napoleon's infrared sizzle zone, reaching up to 1,800 degrees in just 30 seconds for that perfect steakhouse sear. Stay connected with the Napoleon Home app. Monitor up to 3 temperature probes, all from your smartphone. Built to last with premium steel, the grilling season never ends with Napoleon Grills from Billiards Plus. Visit Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin and transform your patio into a gourmet grilling paradise.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Fascinating, informative, covered in dog slobber. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
We've had conversations before about like who would play you in a movie and all that. You know, your favorite actor.
Mm-hmm.
Can't even remember. I'm trying to remember yours.
Well,
did you go with? I think you want some pop with the obvious choices.
Denzel. I think I threw a Morris Chestnut at you.
Yeah. You didn't throw a Kevin Hart at me?
No.
Okay.
No. I think Kevin Hart could play me in a movie, though. I do. Yeah, so those three I wouldn't be mad at. Denzel, Morris Chestnut, Kevin Hart. I think that could work for your boy. How about you?
I think back in the day,
Kevin Bacon?
I think I chose Kevin Bacon, and then I went with who's the the
pills kicking in.
The pills have been. I'm floating pretty good. The pills are fine.
There's a bite right there for you. I'm floating pretty good. The pills are fine.
Don't click. All right, I can't stop him now. It was the guy, the last Bond.
Oh,
I would have liked him. Daniel Craig. That would have been nice.
Who was the original? Remind me of that guy. The original.
Well, Sean Connery was the original.
There you go. Okay.
And,
there you go.
Well, no, George Lazenby was the original, and then Connery, and then Connery was. My favorite was Roger Moore, but I grew up in that era, and my dad's would have been Sean Connery, but then I thought Timothy Dalton was okay. Pierce Brosnan, pretty cool.
That's the name I was.
And then
looking for.
Daniel Craig was one that I think they questioned whether he would ever do it because he was the first blonde James Bond. And I remember when that came out, they're like, you cannot pick him, they said. He's been pretty good.
I've enjoyed.
Have you ever seen Road to Perdition?
Road to Perdition.
With Tom Hanks and Paul Newman and him? Oh, yeah. That's a ride. That's a good movie.
I enjoy Daniel Craig and Knives Out.
And you turned me on to that, the Glass Onion and the Knives Out.
Glass Onion was the second one.
He had some comedy. He added a little.
Thought he was pretty funny in those. I need a third one of those. They need to hurry up and drop that.
So I was surprised to hear that Derrick Henry, your boy,
the king,
told Dan Patrick who his favorite actor is, and then with Patrick having a connection with Sandler and being in his grown-up movies or whatever he's been in, he threw something out almost like a guarantee, and you would have thought Derrick Henry was just handed the Lombardi. Here it is.
Appreciate it, Dan. Thank you for wearing that hoodie, man. Lime green brighten up my day. Appreciate it.
Well, this is Happy Gilmore 2. This is what Adam Sandler gave me.
Okay, that's one of my, Adam Sandler, my favorite actor, so that's what's up.
So that's the Happy Gilmore golf swing right there, that patch right there.
Hey, can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
If you ever see him again, tell him I'm a really big fan. I would really love to meet him one day.
Okay. You know what I'm going to do?
Yeah.
I'm going to text him today and ask if he'll send a video.
Please.
And then I'm going to send it to the Ravens.
Okay, cool. I'm a huge fan.
Okay. And if you get to 2,000 yards, I'll get you in a Sandler movie.
All right, cool. Say no more.
Is that all right?
Remember that, now. You remember this? Remember that?
No. I'll take care of my end of it.
Okay.
I mean, mine's easy.
Yeah.
Yours is hard. You got to get 2,000 yards.
Say no more.
No pressure.
That is on. No pressure at all.
All right.
That's amazing. And it's fun. It's cool to me that you can hear a star that I'm sure a lot of kids look up to, a lot of fans adore, glow about somebody else, another celebrity, right? Like he obviously loves Adam Sandler. And so to hear that in his voice, I think is pretty cool. If there's going to be a couple guys that you bet on in the league to get to that number, he would be one of them. He would be one of them. He was knocking on that door last year.
79 yards.
Away from getting to 2,000. Saquon got it by, 5 yards last year, I think, or something like that.
He is going to be 31.
He will be 31.
And he's played in every game the last 3 years.
It's amazing, the shape that this dude stays in. And I think, look, you pair him with Lamar at this point in his career, I think it's opened things up and can make the run game a little easier for Derrick Henry at this point, because last year over there in Baltimore, he had a career high in yards per carry at 5.9 a pop.
That's right.
And so that's when you get into those type of conversations of who you would bet on around the NFL to get to 2,000 yards. And for me, Derrick Henry, right there, he's right there at the top. I think Saquon will take a little bit of a step back this year, but he'll be right in the mix. You could talk me into Bijan Robinson with the talent that he has and where he's at in age and all of those things, but it's such a hard number to get to, obviously. It's just something that we don't see often, and you just saw with your own eyes. Two of the veteran running backs in Saquon and Derrick Henry do it last year, but it just takes so many things around you to click, and you got to have a really good offensive line in front of you, which both those guys have. But, yeah, Derrick Henry at this point, it's nuts what this guy's doing. Nuts.
It's fun to get him close and have this hanging over his head and knowing that's the motivation, because I just brought up their schedule. And from start to finish, I'd be betting against 2,000. I would. He's gotten close, but he's now going to be a year older, and he's, like I said, he's played in every game the last 3 years. So the odds going to be that he would play 4 straight years every game. They opened the season by playing playoff teams in the first 6 weeks. You got a week 4 game at Kansas City. You guys haven't won there since when? And I'm not saying he can't have a good game and lose the game. That easily could happen. But I remember the last time they won there. And then in the middle, they play 3 straight weeks on the road. You have a Thursday nighter in Miami. And then, by the way, that's nice that you're playing in Miami at night. What date is that? Do you know?
October 30th.
Yeah, it won't be that hot, but I mean, it's nice that it's at night. And then they got to go on the road for 3 straight.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you had to go on the road for 3 straight much.
And listen, the Ravens would hear us having this conversation and say those teams got to deal with us.
That's true.
We're one of the best teams in the league and have been the last couple of years. We're a problem no matter where we go.
Here's your closeout games, because this is when he gets close. When he gets to 18 or 1,800. They close out the season with 3 of the 4 games on the road. They've got road trips at Lambeau and Pittsburgh.
And Cincinnati. So 3 of their last 4.
You end the season with back-to-back roadies.
And I don't
remember that ever happening.
That works out great for Derrick Henry.
Back-to-back roadies?
When it's cold outside, late December, you don't want to tackle that dude. You see Derrick Henry coming around the corner. He's trying to run through your face.
Tell the folks the first 4 games.
The first 4 games are at Buffalo, home against the Dog Pound, the Brownies, home against Detroit, and then at Kansas City.
No.
Well, it's honestly the first 6 weeks for them. Houston and L.A. have been playoff teams recently.
Playoffs.
So, yeah, look, that's that first place schedule. That's what you get. The crossover division for us is the NFC North, so that's no cupcake walk either.
Holy cow.
But here's the interesting thing that Maddie brought up, and I'd have to confirm this is true. We've done the show together now many years, and he was producing the show even when I was doing it with Bobby. I don't remember his Ravens ever getting off to bad starts. They just don't. Harbaugh, first of all, isn't he perfect in the preseason or whatever? He got that stupid thing going. Is that still going?
I don't know if it's still going. I think they got clipped last year or the year before that.
That's the new Mike Tomlin's got a winning record.
But
never
my point was they treated the preseason somewhat in a different mindset.
Yeah.
And in September, under his guy, they're never in a hole.
Listen,
I've never even done a show with you where I feel like we've gotten to October and I said, you're worried?
It might be over.
Like, I don't think so.
They're going to make us earn it this year, though.
Yeah.
That is for sure with that schedule. But, yeah, listen, feel good about what they bring to the table
won it
year in and year out.
twice in a row, right?
The North.
Yeah.
So I've been spoiled as a fan. I really have. Going into every year knowing that we've got a pretty safe floor with a decently high ceiling as well. We just got to cash in. Got to cash in. I've seen 2 with my own eyes, though, so I can't complain too much.
Andrew's still on the squad?
Yeah. Last year for him, AR will not be surprised if they let him ride out this last year and then end up paying Isaiah Likely as their tight end in the future.
Feels like that's where it's going. On him.
On Andrews?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Tell him he's done. Tell him he's done.
This is the new Matty. Reverse. Although, you know what? He got his boy back today. He got Miley back.
Oh.
He didn't do much today.
Oh, is it? Did he? Oh, yeah, he is out there right now.
Yeah.
Okay. 6'1".
Well, he just went out there.
Oh, he just went out there.
Yeah,
okay,
I don't think he just went out there. But he's got the bases juiced.
I can't.
What's your prediction? Prediction? Yeah, prediction. Pain. What do you think, Matty? 1-2 count, bases juiced.
A grand slam he'll give up.
Your boy, your boy Miley. Ground ball right side, back to the plate for one. They got the force. All right, we'll come back. Tell the truth next. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
Ma, the meatloaf!
The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony. Comfort is king. We all strive for it, but life gets in the way. You know that. And oh, my aching feet is not just a cliche. That's why the Good Feet store, in my opinion, has the best arch support solutions engineered to help you and me live the life we love without pain. For more than 30 years, they've taken great pleasure in helping thousands discover the comfort they've been dreaming of. I'm a customer. I have their 3-step system put right into all my shoes. They support, balance, and strengthen my feet and really guide them right into their ideal position. Every step I take, every move I make, I get relief. Not from the song, although I love that, but from my personally fit arch supports from the Good Feet store. Your free fitting is designed to help them understand you, your pain, and your discomfort, your personalized system. You'll walk out wearing your new arch supports hassle-free and begin living the life you love without pain. The Good Feet store on Stringtown Road in Grove City or Polaris Parkway. Learn more at goodfeet.com.
We've discovered the perfect morning ritual, the 2 for $6 breakfast sandwich deal at Tim Hortons. Every sandwich is made to order with a freshly cracked egg and melty cheese, just the way breakfast should be. Choose between savory sausage or hickory smoked bacon, served on a toasted English muffin or flaky biscuit. There's no wrong way to mix and match this tasty deal. 2 breakfast sandwiches, just $6. Perfect. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, single item at regular menu price. Modifications and tax extra. Exclusions and additional terms apply.
It always seems to happen at the worst time. You're finally in bed after a long, hard day, and then you hear it. You sit up, heart sinking. Is that coming from the ceiling? All of a sudden, it's a middle of the night flashlight hunt to find the leak. But don't worry, Newman Roofing has you covered, literally. With more than 3 decades in the business, we've seen just about everything a storm can throw at a roof. Our teams know how to spot the problem, explain your options, and fix it right the first time, with craftsmanship and care you can feel good about. We're not just here for a quick patch job, and we never will be. We're here to make sure your home stays protected season after season. So when it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, choose the company you can trust, Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
When sudden illness or injury strike, Ohio State offers 3 types of urgent care to meet any of your needs. From traditional urgent care to our specialized orthopedic urgent care for activity-related injuries and advanced urgent care for more serious injury and illness, Ohio State's experts treat everything from broken bones to ear infections and colds and flu. When your illness or injury can't wait, the choice is clear.
After an audit of our programming, the suits here at The Fan decided we needed more baseball. And that common man is stupid. Good news. We fixed one of those problems. Catch the Reds on The Fan all season long. Yay, baseball.
Hey, it's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place.
One of my favorite things, Wilson, is the look on people's faces when they see the end price for Pella windows.
Yeah, I'm always hearing, does it look like I'm wearing my money britches?
More like, I can't believe we get the Pella look and quality at these prices.
Oh, you went the other way with that. You're hearing good things. Oh, this is awkward.
Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived, the only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, and hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Window Nation. Now buy 4 windows, get 4 free. Plus a free entry door with a house of windows. Visit windownation.com.
All right, Loose Cannon, take us home.
All right, the fan poll today asks, what do you think is going to happen in the Stanley Cup final? It starts tonight. We got 4 options. We got Oilers in 4 or 5. We got Oilers in 6 or 7. Panthers in 4 or 5, or Panthers in 6 and 7.
Yeah,
6 or 7.
I took the last one. I took Panthers 6 or 7 because I think they could.
They've been here too,
split.
They know what this is
about. A pair of splits, and then they steal another one at Edmonton, and then close them out at home.
Didn't they almost blow a 3-1 lead last year?
They were up 3. Happened. I think they were up 3-0, weren't they?
Yeah, I think you're.
They may have been up 3-0.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Wow,
I'll have to check that.
And then it went to Game 7.
That's right.
Man, my mind goes to what we all know as hockey fans is so important, and it's good goaltending, good to great goaltending. And I think the Panthers have that. And Bob, we know them all too well. I'll go Panthers in 6. I think that's
okay.
where
So you're with me. Plus 450 on that.
Yeah, Panthers in 6.
Listen, the Oilers have been, I think, one of the best offensive teams. Panthers best defense. I mentioned that earlier. The Panthers kill is number 1, and the Oilers have a 30% power play. So that's the special teams part of it's going to be big. Oilers kill not that good. And the Panther power play is decent. It's plus 20%. So, everyone's pointing to Stuart Skinner, and he needs to be solid. And he's been better in the playoffs than the regular season, but not crazy better. Bob's about a .912 save percentage. He's getting serious run support in the playoffs. I was a little surprised to see that Edmonton on Bet365 today for the series was minus 130. Seemed like that was a little tilted, so I took the value on the Panthers. But I am rooting. I would like that streak to end for them, for Canada. And I've got no real huge desire to see the Panthers win again. But it's going to be, I hope it's a really good series. I hope that Edmonton has kind of flipped the switch here. They've gotten, I know the pressure, the weight of the whole hockey world is on them, especially in Edmonton. But I hope we get another good series.
I'm with you.
Yeah. I'm floating pretty good. The pills are fine. That's true.
A tweeter says that Steve Buscemi would be a good actor to play Rothman in a movie. Rothman, tell the truth, your reaction?
I mean, that's the reaction is, listen, he's a little strange looking. Maybe I am. I don't know. But I didn't think I was that road. That's fine. He's a very, very talented actor. I've quoted Fargo a million times on the show, and
I'm not really seeing Steve Buscemi.
It's just a little oddball. I think that's more of an insult than anything, but
Well, Adam King did say that you weren't that good looking.
That implies that at some point in life I was. Right? And I feel like there's no reason that everyone should be taking that kind of a shot. Well, that's fine. No, the truth is no, I wouldn't sign on for that.
Anthony Rothman, not that good looking.
Mm-hmm.
If Dan Patrick had made this bet with Derrick Henry prior to this season, would he have gotten him into a Sandler movie at 1,921 yards short of 2,000?
Yes. Dan Patrick seems like a cool guy. I think if he gets anywhere, I don't even think he has to have that amazing of a year. I think now that Dan knows how big of a fan Derrick Henry is of Adam Sandler, he's going to do everything in his power to get those guys connected at minimum. Maybe not get them into a movie, but I do think, or maybe we won't hear about it. I hope we hear about Derrick Henry and Adam Sandler linking up. Because Adam Sandler, look, he's just out there at the rec at your local court, man, balling in a 3XT and some 3X shorts to this day. Like, Adam Sandler will go hoop anywhere. So, yeah, I'm here for that, but I think Dan Patrick will hold up his end of the bargain. And if he's short, he's still going to find a way to get that guy around Adam Sandler.
How short?
I don't think it matters. I don't. I think Dan Patrick was playing for effect on radio, but when they got off the air, he's probably like, you know what, I'm going to take care of you regardless. That's my hope.
Happy Gilmore 3. Possibly. Kelsey's in it.
Yeah, Kelsey's in this thing. I think we got Bad Bunny in this.
Bad Bunny's in it.
Boban's in it.
Yes, Boban is in it. He was in one of the John Wick movies, I believe, the fourth one.
I didn't know that until I alerted my friends that Boban was going to be in this movie, and then they said, "Oh, that wouldn't be his first."
Yeah,
so
he was in.
Take your word for it.
I think it was John Wick 4, but yeah, little Kid Cudi and I think Rory and Scotty are making an appearance in this thing. So
Jack's in it.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
Shout out to Stone Cold.
And we didn't get to this audio earlier in the day, but we can get to it now. Here was Louis Riddick saying that the Steelers may want to punt on the Aaron Rodgers situation.
Obviously, Pittsburgh has put themselves in this position by being willing to continue to wait for him. Obviously, they also know that with every organized activity that he misses, that is one less chance for him to kind of ingratiate himself to the rest of the locker room, learn the offense, really kind of develop chemistry, all the kind of things that, I think sometimes maybe people get tired of talking about because it's an intangible thing that you can't really quantify, but you damn sure can quantify when the season starts. And all of a sudden, wide receiver and quarterback are on the same page. They're arguing on the sideline. Relationships start to fracture. See, those are the things that right now you're just you're making the likelihood of that happening increase exponentially every single day that he's not there. And really, at this point, I don't even know if it even makes sense anymore. I don't know if it'll give them the return that I said early on back in February. He is the kind of guy that they actually need. He needs Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh needs him. It made sense back then. I don't know if now they'll get their return on investment.
You got a minute and a half. Go for it.
It's very possible he's right. I also feel like he's discounting what they have right now, which isn't a whole lot. And if Aaron Rodgers plays for the bargain bin price that he said he would, then I don't see any real reason to not take him other than he talked about the drama or not ingratiate himself to teammates. Last time I checked, guys in the NFL, if the guy can play ball, he can play ball. Let's get him on the team. I think they're about talent and winning. And if he's better than what they got, they should probably see it through.
Yeah, I think they owe themselves to allow Aaron Rodgers to take a little bit more time. You get a few days out from training camp and he doesn't have an answer for you, I think that's when you move on, right? I think mandatory minicamp, you can get through this thing with Mason Rudolph and those guys. They're telling us how much they believe in Mason Rudolph, whether that's true or not, who knows. But yeah, if he's not there, AR, he's not committed to you a week out from training camp.
Let me throw something at you.
Then we got to move on.
What if he reports late to camp?
Training camp?
Yes.
No.
Signs. Do you let Mason Rudolph start? And would Aaron even entertain being the backup?
Not at all.
To start.
No. Aaron Rodgers is not backing up anybody.
As punishment or because he legitimately is behind in the offense?
Legitimately because he doesn't have time to learn the offense.
He would retire on the spot.
Okay.
I think.
All right.
I don't have ovaries. I can't have a child.
Hey, if you missed anything from our show, don't worry. Wherever you get your podcast, you can always catch up. All you got to do is type in Rothman and Ice. Everything we do from noon to 3, we'll be waiting there for you. Subscribe to the podcast as well. Bet365 is the exclusive sports betting sponsor of the Rothman and Ice podcast.
All right. Thank you for enduring the crappy voice. Hopefully we'll be better tomorrow. We'll talk to you then. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
T-Bone and Tyvis are everything you want in a delicious breakfast. Lots of empty calories, no nutritional value.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
I've had a number of surgeries, and frankly, I don't have time to rehab a surgery and an operation at this point in my life. I didn't want to take time off my kids' activities.
That's why former college and pro football player Bobby Carpenter turned to QC Kinetics. We couldn't be happier saving our patients like him from operating rooms and long recoveries.
They will resume like normal activity for me, which is a lot of running. It's a lot of workouts. I've been very, very blessed with how it's been able to hold up.
For so long, patients have accepted surgery as the only solution. But with new technologies, the medical professionals at QC Kinetics use regenerative treatments, your body's own biologics, to help heal and restore knees, hips, shoulders, and backs.
I actually ran into a friend of mine over at our golf course, and he had his knee done. It felt so well. He'd got his shoulder done. He goes, I can't thank you enough. He'd heard the commercial on the air, and so it's feeling great.
Find out how you can avoid surgery and finally get relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With Truehold, you can sell your home for its current value, so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. Truehold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since Truehold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit Truehold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours, based on its current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com. Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
A healthy body needs good food. This summer, the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce is sponsoring Sun Meals, a summer food program where kids eat free. Children under 18 receive healthy meals and no sign-up is required. Locations may be right in your neighborhood. Call 1-866-348-6479 or visit education.ohio.gov/kidseat for meal locations and times. That's education.ohio.gov/kidseat.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
At Metal Supermarkets, we're all about getting you and your crew to quit in time sooner. That's why our service is a cut above. You see, no matter the project, we'll get you to the right metal, shape, and grade. Cut to any size, ready real fast. And yeah, we'll deliver, leaving plenty of time for the important things, like opening an ice-cold can of aluminum. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience store for metal.
Listen to Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles this Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on 1460 ESPN, covering topics like what you need to know about annuities and how to stay healthy and enjoy retirement. Financially Fit Radio this Saturday at 9 a.m. on 1460 ESPN.
When you're ready to sell your car, another reason to choose Hinderer Motor Company is the easy, fast, fair, and hassle-free way to sell. This is Justin Hinderer. We pay top dollar for your vehicle, whatever the make or model, and no purchase is necessary. Consider trading and get even more toward your next vehicle. Drive in today and leave with cash or get a great deal. See why it's a pleasure doing business.